Okay, so let me share my screen with you. Sorry, I won't switch on my camera because there's a lot of things that happens in the background. So as I'm training you guys, I'll be talking to some other people and doing something in the background. That's why I don't usually switch on my camera during training. I have to multitask. So at the moment, I'm gonna just talk to you about the QR1 and then we talk about the FR1, just hardware-wise. Then I don't have an FR1 online. I will connect to my QR1 that's sitting on my network, and I'll show you how you set a QR1, which is the same procedure as setting up an FR1. Okay, so no the procedure to program is the same. Okay. So the QR1 and the FR1 programming is pretty much the same concept, depending on whether you are using the FR1. There are two models. I think you are aware. There's an FR1 that is not Dante enabled, and then you also have an FR1 that is Dante enabled, the module. All right. So the QR1, basically, let's do this. So I will show you. I don't have a Xilica PowerPoint. I will show you on the side on my second screen, and let's share with you. So you should be able to see my second screen. All right. So basically, this is the QR1. So a QR1, we call it 8x8 matrix. So it's an 8x8 matrix. All right. And the FR1 is a 16x16 matrix. Excellent. Thank you, boss. So the QR1 basically, yeah, that's the one. It's an 8x8 matrix. All right. Meaning you can have 8 inputs going to 8 outputs simultaneously. As QR and FR1, you can have 16 inputs going to 16 outputs. So that's a 16x16. So the bottom line that you guys need to remember all the time, if you look on the QR1 that you have on the desk there are 2 points, 2 network points on the front. The first one is a normal Ethernet PoE network point, all right? And then the second point is a Dante point, all right? So for general communication, day-to-day communication, day-to-day programming, software configuration, you use the Ethernet PoE point, which is a normal point. But when you are connecting the QR1 to a Dante-enabled network, you'll use the Dante port. So there are 2 ports. One is a normal communication port, Ethernet port, and the other one is a Dante port. So for you to also do a little bit more with the Dante, I will advise you guys to take a look or to register yourselves on Ordinate. It's called Ordinate, and they do Dante level 1, Dante level 2, and Dante level 3 training. It's very, very easy, very straightforward. All you do is you watch videos, you make notes, they will teach you all about Dante. So basically, Dante is a network audio streaming, okay, that was developed, and this does not offer any resistance to networking. So Dante audio is instant. If you have a Dante audio setup in your office, and you have a Dante audio setup at Emma's house, and if you are routing music from the office to your house via Dante, that music is instant. It is as if you are at the source. There's no delays in Dante. Okay, so Dante is used for professional audio. Everyone is moving to Dante. Unfortunately, Towa, we are Japanese, we're a little bit slow. Japanese are quite traditional, but everyone else on the market has already shifted to Dante. So Dante is the way forward at the moment. Okay, so basically what I'm going to show you today is a bit of the Dante stuff, but I'll be concentrating more on the day-to-day normal programming of the QR1 and the FR1. Why we say the QR1 is an 8x8 matrix, if you look on my screen, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards, okay, or card slots where you can put, if you want the green, you can put 1, to 4 being the green cards representing your 8 inputs, 2 input per card. From number 5 to 8, you then put the blue cards representing 2 output per cards. This will give you 8 inputs plus 8 outputs. This is why we call it an 8 by 8 matrix, right? In comparison to a Tower M9000, let me do this. Let's compare apples to apples.
Actually, the Xilica is not 8 by 8 and 16 by 16. It is
Sorry?
you can do whatever you want with the inputs and outputs, no?
That's correct.
You can do with the Xilica whatever you want.
Yeah, that's well said, boss. You can do pretty much what you want with the Xilica, unlike what you can do with the M9000. Let me show you so that you can compare apples to apples. Tower M9000 M2, then I can just see. So I can show you a few things there. So the Xilica is very flexy, all right? You can actually have 2. Okay, we said default is 8 by 8, which means 8 inputs going to 8 outputs. Here is what we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If they're all green, that gives you 8 inputs. If you go blue, 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 that will give you 8 outputs. But the beauty about the Xilica stuff, you can have 2 outputs, 2 inputs here, and the rest being outputs. Meaning I'll have blue. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This becomes a 2 by 14. So you can have two inputs going to 14 outputs. Beautiful. You can do the opposite. You can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 being the green cards, which is your input, which means you can have 14 inputs going to 2 outputs if we put the blue on this one. Literally, you can expand the QR1 by an X01. What it means is it's exactly the same unit. The only thing is you can put these cards or these slots to increase the number of inputs or the number of outputs. So let's take a look. I can have an X01, which looks like the QR1, and I can populate it with with all 16 inputs. And I can then say I'll have 16 inputs, 17, 18, 19, 20, including the QR1, and then put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue, which means I can have 20 inputs being routed to 12 outputs. That's the beautiful part about the Xilica. Okay, let me just unfortunately not take that call. So this is what the Xilica does, which I cannot achieve with a Tower M9000. All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look so that I can show you the limitation on the M9000. All right, this is an M9000 that you're looking at. All right, you have your slots. So the slots of the M9000 are dedicated. You cannot put an output slot from 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't. Slot number 1, 2, 3, 4 on the M9000 is dedicated to your inputs. So this essentially means it's an 8 input card maximum. You cannot expand it. And then slot number 5, 6, and 7, you then put your output cards. Okay. Slot number 8 is your control module card. Whereas with the Xilica, as you see, this is a GPIO control input card. I can have this one on slot number 1 and have another one on slot number 2 and put slot number 3, 4, 5, 6 with my input cards, slot number 7 and 8 with my output cards. So this Xilica is really flexible. You can put any slot in any input card and do whatever you want with the programming. You are not limited. All right. Let's also take a look at the QR1 for now. All right. The QR1, once it sits on your network, you have an option. Oh, sorry, guys. Let me just ask the guys at reception not to transfer calls to me.
No problem.
Otherwise, I won't be able to work.
No problem. Also, not only it is 8 cards, by the fact that this is Dante, it's by far more than input and output, because if you go on the Dante, you can even expand more inputs and more outputs. So it's actually endless.
That's what I want to ask. But is there a limitation on the expansion?
The Dante, I think, is 250 channels by 250 channels. And the beauty with Dante, it works with any Dante. So you can buy a small Firmware Dante. You know, Firmware has small Dantes. You can run on the network, put a small Dante device and connect to a wall or to whatever, and you have sound. And it's also a matrix. Yeah, the same you can do on the FR1, but the FR1 I didn't bring with Dante because we don't do Dante. But in future, yes, everything is going to Dante because it's all going to be network. Yeah, but a bit costly. So yes, you can have here 8 cards plus Dante. And the
Okay,
other one
I am
is
back talking. That's sorted. I don't think there's a call that's going to come through.
how many inputs, outputs on the Dante?
On the QR1 or the FR1, you have an option of using what we call touchscreen control modules. All right. So let's have a look at the touchscreen control modules that you can use. The first one is an X-Touch 5. The second one is an X-Touch 8. So on the sorry, let's go there. You can use either or, right? So you can use an X-Touch 5 from Xilica. Let's see.
Dante on Xilica supports how many channels?
It looks like a normal tablet.
Obvious, you can hear me.
So it's a 5-inch tablet. The other one is a 8-inch tablet. So it looks pretty much like a normal day-to-day tablet. The beautiful part that I also like about Xilica is that you can customize a Xilica. You can use the Xilica app or download it to your smartphone, download it to your computer, download it to your tablet, and you can pretty much program what you would program on a Xilica touchscreen. You can program this on your tablet. So here in the office, unfortunately, you guys won't be able to see, but here in the office, I can control my Xilica from this laptop. I'll give you a demo later on when we do the programming. I can control my Xilica from this laptop. I'm able to adjust the volume. I'm able to see who has switched which speaker on in my demo room. I can actually reduce the volume if I'm doing online training and somebody's blasting music. I can simply go to the platform and open up the Xilica link and just reduce the volume a bit. Then he will know, oh, I'm doing a demo, but somebody's reducing my volume because I'm making too much noise. So you can control the Xilica from the X-Touch 5, from the X-Touch 8, or from the wall panels, which are called WPs, wall mount panels, or you can control the Xilica from your smartphone. You can control the Xilica from the tablet as long as you are on the same network. That is important. Okay, so the X-Touches, these are what we have as the X-Touch. They can work in portrait form, okay? They can also be programmed in landscape format. So to program the X-Touch requires a bit of creativity, okay? So here it doesn't come with a sample. You virtually have to create your own touch screen, your own pictures that you want, your own GUI as we call it. I will give you a demo of my X-Touch GUI that I've done for my demo room. You can customize it in any fashion you want. You can have it with all the colors of the rainbow that looks like a Christmas tree. You can have it in 2-color mode. You can pretty much do anything. You are not limited. You can even put pictures behind the X-Touch that when you are switching it on, it shows your Pro AV or Technet logo. You can do anything you want. So the X-Touch, the beautiful part about it, these screens are PoE enabled. So you don't have to have an external power supply. There's an external power supply that comes with the unit, but you can also PoE power it. Also, similar to the QR1, you can have it, unfortunately, I don't have a front picture, but you can have it PoE powered, or you can use the power supply that comes with it to externally power it. All right. So for me, I prefer running everything on PoE for ease of simplicity and wiring. So the QR1 comes with a built-in 4x4 Dante. All right. So the QR1 comes with a built-in 4x4 Dante, which means you can stream 4 channels to 4 outputs on Dante. So it's a 4x4 Dante enabled device, right? When we talk of the FR1, the Dante channels vary.
Obvious.
Okay? And we'll deal with the Dantes of the FR1 a little bit later on. Yes, boss.
The Dante is only 4x4 on the. Can you hear me?
Boss, I think I saw your hint.
No, you cannot hear me.
Can you hear me, guys? Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. You cannot hear me. Can you hear me?
I can see my audio on the mic. I'm not sure if you can see, if you can still hear me. I can see you, but I can't hear you from your side.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Okay, confirm for me, guys, if you can type on the chat somebody to say
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It's okay. Now I can hear you.
The Dante is only 4x4?
Yes, on the QR1.
Okay, and the FR1, the one that comes with Dante, it's a 255?
I think it does. I need to confirm for you there. It depends on what you have set. You can do 64x64, I think. Yeah, and then you can also reduce it to 32x2. But I'll check on the specs for the FR1 for you.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah,
so on the QR1, it's only 4x4 addition IO.
Yes. On the QR1, you are stuck with a 4x4. It's the very minimum Dante channel that you've got.
Okay.
All right. And then on the FR1, when I check on the specs for you, it depends on whether you are using the 48 kilohertz or the 96 kilohertz. I think there's also another one, 192 kilohertz. I can't remember, but I'll check on the specs and give you the right figures there.
Okay.
All right. So the QR1, okay, like we were saying, on the front, whenever you are not using Dante, don't connect the Dante network. Just use your normal Ethernet port with PoE. Right. The cards available are the same, whether you are using an FR6 and FR1, whether you're using a QR1, the cards can be used and in the same format. Whether you are using, whether you have the input cards, the output cards, the AES ABU card, or the GPIO card, or the USB card, you can use any of these cards on any of the models. So whether you're using an FR1, the cards are applicable, same card size. Whether you're using the QR1, the cards are applicable, once again, same card size. The only difference being the QR1 takes a maximum of 8 cards, and then the FR1 takes a maximum of 16 cards. Remembering that all the input cards give you 2 input channels and 2 output channels per card. Any questions there, guys?
No, I will only add that there's also USB card, and the USB takes 2 slots.
Yes.
Not 1 slot, 2 slots. And it's 2 in, 2 out, but it takes 2 slots. So if you put USB, you now have only 6 cards to put. And if you put USB on the big one, you only have 14 cards.
That is correct. Thank you for that. Please always remember when you are in quoting for a USB card, it will occupy 2 card slots. Thank you, boss, for that. Yes, go for it.
When you use the AES cards.
No, AES is not a card. AES is a software.
Yeah.
That is when you do conferencing, when you connect microphones and you need to do acoustic cancellation. So this is actually, I think there's a video on YouTube they've explained to us on that one. This is when you use conferencing microphones to go to the PA, you want to cut the echo. So only when it's a boardroom, when they're going to use microphones to feed the speakers, you put AES. Correct?
Yeah, and all you need to also to remember is these cards that you see on my screen, the green one, these are analog cards. So your AES, yes, these are the digital signal part. So the AES stroke EBU, these are digital. and then the normal ones will be
Yeah, the
your
AES
analog
is,
player.
sorry, I was confusing these. These ones are digital sound inputs.
Yes, yes,
Mm.
yes. For that refined, very clear sound, not all, okay. If we buy our cheap DVD players, you cannot run them on AES Ibo. But for those Marantzi type, you know, those Denon types of Blu-ray, DVD, they'll give you what is called digital output. This is what you'll stream through via AES Ibo cards. Or alternatively, you can put a USB card in there and you get your sound from a USB source, like my computer. I can then stream that sound, or I have Spotify run, stream that sound via my computer into the USB card that will be digital, and then you stream out on the analog port into your amplifiers. Right. Some of the things that you can do with the QR1, FR1, especially the QR1, is a very good replacement, like I've said, for our TOA M9000. It does everything that the TOA M9000 does. Number one, you're able to do room combination. So where you have got multiple rooms, or maybe a venue at a hotel where they've got these rooms with sliding doors, let's say 3 conference rooms, they can shut down the room, the 2 doors, and you have 3 independent rooms. With the QR1, you are able to broadcast a music source or a sound source into a particular room, depending on the scene. And when the scene changes, you can combine 2 rooms and 2 music sources, or whatever number of music sources. If all the rooms are open to become one big, large venue, you can also do that. So room combination that you normally do with the M9000 using the ZM panels, the ZM9, 911, 912, 913, 914, you can do the same thing. And equally with a QR1, either using your X-Touch module or your WP module, wall mount modules. Okay, so it's completely doable. You can also do room combination when you are using the QR1, and you control these room scenes by your tablet or by your phone. Okay, or even by your laptop. So here's a pictorial view that I was looking for. The Dante one, don't use it for day-to-day programming, day-to-day setup. You use the Ethernet port with PoE. All right. Any questions there? Right. There are these LEDs. Go for it.
Second?
I was asking on the with the expansion on the X01, up to how many can I add on the QR1 or FR1?
1.
Only 1?
Yeah, per QR1.
Oh.
Right. Let's have a quick look at your QR1 that you have there. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 LEDs. Okay. Usually, when the QR1 is working, you normally have to look at the green LED marked audio in. What it does, as soon as it lights up, it's just telling you that I am receiving an analog, if it's an analog, or an AES EBU, if it's a digital signal. You need to keep a close eye on that LED. If it does not light up, there's no ways you can get sound. It is very important to always have a keen eye that always looks for the audio input LED. As long as it switches on, it tells you that the QR1 is receiving audio from whatever source that you've plugged in. Number 2, there's an audio output LED. If there's no signal being routed to a particular output, this stays off. So in the case that you are setting up your QR1 and you are unable to hear
You were
audio,
cut off, your internet was not clear. Obvious.
okay.
Your internet was cutting you out. Maybe if you can repeat again.
Right. The second thing that I need you guys to have a close look at, always have a look at the audio output LED. Okay. If, for example, you do not hear any sound in your speakers, if the audio out LED is off, it's simply telling you that whatever you are inputting, I cannot route it out. Okay. This might be as simple as maybe the volume has been turned down internally, or your music source volume is also very low. So it is critical that the audio input LED is always on, telling you that I'm receiving signal as QR1. Your audio output LED must also turn on, telling you that me as QR1, I'm now routing your audio to whatever speaker outputs that you want. So those LEDs are critical. The next LED usually turns blue on our models is the network audio. Sorry, it's the network indicator. Wow, two things. If you are going to be using a QR1 with any X-Touch panels, with any wall control panels, with your cell phone with an X-Touch app, with your laptop with an X-Touch app, you need then to ensure that the network LED that lights in blue is blue. If it is red, okay, so there's two conditions. The network LED comes blue when there's a network. If there is no network, it lights red. So as soon as you see the red LED, what it means is your QR1 will be able to receive audio and send out audio as per your program, but you cannot externally control it by your cell phone, by your X-Touch, by your wall mount unit, by your laptop, because the network is off. So as long as the network LED is red, it means you cannot externally control the QR1 or the FR1. So I want you guys to take note of these conditions. Then we have what is called an operate light. An operate light simply signifies that the QR1 or the FR1 is receiving power. That's all. If it's off, then everything else should be off on that unit. All right, then lastly, we have got what we call an IP reset button that you need to press. This is just to reset your IP to sort of factory defaults so that you'll be able to log on to the unit. Right. Any questions roughly on the hardware? Any questions? This is, go for it.
No, nothing.
Okay, good. So this is what the wall mount, the XWP looks like. This is what the wall mount unit. Sorry, I'm just Googling it. This is what it looks like. So this is also, yeah, it looks like your, it looks
we have one.
You have one.
Yes.
Perfect. So this is a very cool one. You also notice the response. Look, I'm not trying to outdo Towa, I love Towa. So you also notice the response of your ZM9014s. I think you guys have got one, you've used one, the ZM9013s on the M9000. You will notice if you press a function, it takes a little bit of time to change the scene. And if you are using the volume control on the ZM9012 and the ZM9014, you have to turn that little volume control a few times and the volume goes up. You will notice when you use the Xilica XWP modules, it's instant. You change something, it changes immediately. You increase the volume, there's no delay, immediately the volume goes up. Okay, so we'll play around with this. All right, so what I need to know from you now, when we go, sorry?
By the way, we can also, you said we can control from tablet, blah, blah, blah. We can also do from the Acovox, yeah?
Yes, I've done it with the Acovox. I've loaded the Xilica touchpad, the Xilica control app on the Acovox. On any Acovox Android device, I'm able to do the same and control from the Acovox. I used my 315, 317, IT83. You can control.
Cool.
Okay. Good. All right, so let's have a look at what entails the programming of the QR1. This is where the fun begins. All right, so let me run. Please, it is important that you download the latest Xilica designer software. If you use the old software and you are connected to the internet, as soon as you power up your laptop and you want to start programming, it will tell you that you are using an old software. You need to run everything on the latest software. So let me open up my Xilica I'll be leaving my screen in the background because I'll need it. Let's open up my Xilica Designer, then I take you through. That's the most important part of this. But remember, Rome was not built in a day. You need to practice on the Xilica big time. The more you practice, the better it will be for you. And the unfortunate part about the Xilica that I need to mention to you is you also have to put a lot of effort into the Xilica to understand networks, because this is purely a networkable device. You need to know your IP addresses. You need how to do your DHCPs. You need to know how to do your static IP address. You need to know how to do your gateways. You need to understand what is a gateway. You need to understand what is a subnet. So all these factors will come into effect, especially if you are setting a Dante network. But if you are setting a standalone Xilica processor, that's okay. All right. For a standalone Xilica processor, you only need to know the IP address of that unit. You log with your laptop, like the VM3000 series. You program, you dump your program, you go. But if you are going to do Dante configuration, you need to spend a bit of time and learn all these networking things. Look, it's not rocket science. I also came through the same. I also dedicated a bit of time, and I know what I know because I experiment. All right. So let's have a look. If you open a brand new program of the Xilica, sometimes it opens in multiple ways, but mostly it will give you a designer. Let me just show you something here. Number one, you can decide to open a new design. You can decide to open a network, so to open an existing file, all right? You can start what is called a network view, and you can start what is called a Dante view. All right, let's have a look. If I am starting a network view, if I hit this button, okay, let's give it time to come up. It will come to this screen and show you what is called a network view. So as you notice now, let me do this. This is my network view. This means all these devices that you are seeing on my screen are devices that I've programmed. And whenever you program something on Xilica, it stays on your screen. You can remove it if you don't want. I can remove these devices and only stay with the live devices. So as soon as you connect to a Xilica network, all your units sitting on that network, they will turn green. You will see with the green icon. So you can see this is a demo room QR1, and this is my demo room X-Touch panel. All right, so it's green, meaning it's live. You also need to check here. It will tell you the firmware version. If this unit is running on an older firmware, there will be an icon that comes up to say you need to upgrade your firmware. Please do so. If your X-Touch is running on an older firmware, there will be a red icon that comes up to say your firmware is old. Please do so. Then the other thing that you need to know, always keep in mind, is this icon with the clock. If you see this icon with the clock, it says here, clock not synchronized. Right, two things. It is not always necessary to synchronize the clock. If you are running just a normal program in your demo room, you're playing your music to your speakers, there's not real need to do synchronization of the clock. But if you are doing what we call a scheduler, a time scheduler, where you want music to start at 8 o'clock and the music to finish off every day at 1600 hours, then you must make sure that your time is always synchronized. This means you will be able to, this means the unit is able to automatically start the time in the morning, to start the music in the morning, play your music, and switch off every day at 1600 hours. So time synchronization is important when you are running a time scheduler where you want things to automatically start in the morning and to end in the evening. Okay, so time synchronization, if I move my mouse, it says not synchronized. When it's synchronized, this clock will show a normal clock, and you will notice that the question mark will go. So as long as there's a question mark, it means that device is not synchronized. We'll talk about this when we do the physical programming. All right. So this
just a second.
in my demo room. As you also notice, this one will give me the MAC address of the physical unit, and it gives me the IP address that it is running on. For example, this is on 192.168.20.230, and it will tell you it's a fixed IP address. This is a static IP address. Again, your choice. You can use a static IP address, which means you put in this number, it does not change. Or you can ask for your DHCP server, all right, to automatically assign an IP address automatically. This is what you guys are doing in your office with your laptop, with your Wi-Fi. You just come to the office with the Wi-Fi, just switch it on, you log on to Pro AV network, and you automatically you're in the internet. The server that's sitting there or the router that's sitting there decides, oh, okay, Emma, you have come in today with laptop number 1. I'll give you this IP address. Tomorrow morning, you come again. It knows the IP address that it gave you yesterday. If that IP address has been given to somebody else, you are given the next available free IP address. All right, guys. So that is called DHCP. DHCP is actually used by our cell phone providers. You have a phone now, you go to your network, you Google, okay? When you are Googling, you are given an IP address by your network provider. It does not stay with you. Next time you go out of Google, if another guy wants to Google via MTN Uganda, he can use the same IP address that was given to you because now you are not using it. So this is called DHCP. It's a dynamic host control protocol where you are given different IP addresses depending on the pool of IP addresses that are sitting on your network. I think I saw boss wanted to comment there, boss.
Sorry, I'm getting you back to hardware. The control unit, the wall plate.
Yes.
Is it PoE?
Yes.
So I must feed it with a PoE link, not just network.
Yes, 100% correct. It's PoE. It's an there you go. It's an RJ45. Okay. Yeah, it's completely PoE.
And what's the USB port in it?
That's a good one. People have asked me which model have you got there, boss?
I have no idea. Wait.
All right.
Wait, I'll tell you.
No worries.
XWP control US black.
You got the latest one. Okay. I believe that could work with USB. I need to just confirm because I have the older models. I haven't got the newer models with me yet because they were launching a USB stroke, I think Bluetooth as well. So I will need that model number and I'll just cross-check for you whether it supports USB and if it supports how you then link it up to the units. But I'll double check for you, but I don't have that latest model. I was waiting for it. No problem. How come you've got it before I got it? It's supposed to be
Tiffany. Talk to Tiffany. But okay, but what is important is PoE. There is no power supply here. I must connect PoE.
Yes, you are right, boss. It's PoE.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, cool. So let's go back to our Xilica. Let me just minimize that. Okay. Right. Don't panic. The most important part about Xilica is not to panic. All right. Similarly, when you are don't panic. So you will make mistakes the first time you're programming. It will be confusing, but the most important thing is don't panic. All right. If time permits me, I will check what you want to install. You want to install which one in your demo room? The FR1.
Yes.
All right. I will see if I can come up with a sort of a GUI, a symbol of a plain configuration for an FR1. And then you can always use this one as a starting file. So you can work with it, change things. And then if it doesn't work, you have the original starting file. So I'll try and create a file for you there. I'll compare what you had in your M9000 file and then try and manipulate that into an FR1 file for you guys. So if anything goes wrong, at least you're not down in the, you're not alone in the woods. You have a starting point. All right, cool. So if you choose to do what is called network view, it comes to this platform, all right? And then whatever you have will be highlighted in green. That means whatever I have here, I can talk to it live, okay? If I double click into the unit, for example, I'm live into my demo room. If I double click in there, I can see what I've set here, okay? You can notice the IP address is static. If I click on DHCP, this number will go away. This unit will cease to be 192.168.20231. My network will then give it an available IP address, okay? But I like to use this one because if I want to log in, I always have the same static IP address for my device. It doesn't have to change. That's why I prefer using it on static.
By default, is it static or DHCP?
It's DHCP.
Okay.
Yes. And the first thing that I do, as soon as I log on to it, I change it to static because it stays constant for me. All right. All right. If I click, double click.
Just a second. Just a second. Just a second.
Go for it.
Although the system is on DHCP, you can still allocate as long as it is in the same range. I'm going to get you an IT training, some basic training, but it's best to put a static IP because the DHCP might have a conflict of IPs. And once you have conflict of IPs, you start getting problems. So on all the devices that we're using, including the ours, you should put static. Although, anyway, I can configure on the Wi-Fi because you now have Wi-Fi for computers and Wi-Fi for the showroom with all the devices. I can set that this different range of IPs are located by the DHCP, so you don't have conflict. But still, as it said, it's always recommended to put a static IP. So regardless, when you have a static IP, the DHCP will still work. Okay. Excellent.
I saw your FR1. Can you guys tell me what input cards you are going to put in your FR1?
It's already there. Let me zoom for you in.
Okay.
That's right.
5 input cards and 1 output.
Oh, I see you have got, okay. You have got 1 green, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you have 1 green plus 5 blue. So that means you have got 2 inputs and 10 outputs. All right.
And I might add more outputs later.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. That's perfect. I've got no problem. That's okay, boss. That'll be good. So what I can do now, guys, let's have a look. Let's have a look. So once your Xilica program is running, what you start, your starting point is you click on File. I hope you can still see my screen. You can choose.
Yes.
Yeah, you can choose to open a new project. So let me click here and open a brand new project. So as soon as you choose to open a brand new project, it will ask you, this project, is it on Solaro series or is it on Neutrino, Uno, Rio series? So for us, we are using the Solaro series. So you click on Solaro, okay? When you click on Solaro, you come to where we say the design page, all right? So this is the design page. Let me open up the object page, all right? The design page will be, you start with the project, you start with the title. Title is what project you are working on, all right? For example, this is TechNet Uganda, Pro AV Uganda. That's my title. The number simply means, according to you guys, you have project numbers. This can be a project number P001, oh, sorry, P001, let's do that one. And then the date obviously is the date you are working on that file. So today is, should be the 21st. Okay, so I do my stuff in a different manner. I normally do it like this. You guys, you do it the way that works for you. Okay, so I know that code represents my date. You can do it in any way. And then this one, last power value, last power off value, normally leave it default as it is. We can change it later, but I normally leave this document as it is. As soon as I've done this, if I click on here, okay, let's just give it a bit of space. You will notice what I was typing on this title, as soon as I close that one, comes up onto here. So where it says name now, like now, if I double click onto that blog, it gives me company name. Then you put your address, and then your author. Is that Patricia, ne?
Yes.
Right, Patricia, and description. So I prefer, guys, that you put as much information in the title as possible. Right, so I'll just do that. So what we're simply doing, but even if you don't put this stuff, it does not matter. The unit is going to work because it's programmed. The reason why I put this stuff in, it helps me to then, when I always open this file, to know exactly what this file relates to. For example, where it says notes, I can say 5 times mics, because there are going to be 5 microphones. I can put in choir mics. Then I can do something and say they're going to have 10 of them. For example, just note that I'm putting, I'm using HX7s. I'm using FB150s. So what I'm doing is just putting in information related to my project. I can actually copy and put as much information there. Then whenever I open this project, I will know, oh, I did this project on this day. That's my project number, where it is installed, who is the author, who did the file, or who is working on that file. And then I can relate to my notes. So if something happens down the line and I've forgotten okay, I've done so many Roman Catholic churches in Uganda, but which one is this? I can go to this information. I'll know when I'm going to site, I need to see so many mics, so many things, so many speakers, so many amplifiers. So this is the beautiful part about inputting information on the project information page. All right. So you click OK. Once you are happy with everything, your information is captured over here. Right. We are starting a new project. You will see something that says load design to devices. This is a physical transferring of your project onto the device, and then the device will reboot, switch on, and start working. You need to select over here where it says devices. You will see it says Xilica for me. It says Solaro processors, Solaro IO expansion frames, control device, Xtouch, WXP, and then this one called Lucia. All right. So if I am to click on Xilica and do something there, you will see I can choose an QR1 or I can choose an FR1. So let me do this. Let me choose a QR1, sorry, an FR1. So here's my FR1 program. The moment you bring it through, please pay attention to this one. You can choose a blank design, which means a design with nothing. You can choose what is called a straight through design, like this one. So it's a design that is already pre-programmed with the template. You can manipulate that template and change it to suit your scenario. Okay. You can choose a straight through design. All these ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are templates that are already designed for you that you can then use and change and do whatever you want. For me, I prefer starting from a blank design. So according now to the FR16, we have 16 card slots. According to what you showed me on the picture, you have card number 1. You come here, you click on it, you choose a two-channel analog in. That's your green card. So I click on that. Then on channel 2, you have the blue card. So you choose a 2-channel analog output. Number 3, you have the 2-channel again analog output. Okay, let's do that one. So I'm going to populate my cards slots exactly the way you have them. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 6 is the last one. Okay, are you guys so far so good? Say happy. We are okay here?
Yeah, very okay.
Thank you. So this represents your physical cards. Then all you do is click on OK. So I'm going to drag this one. This is what I was saying, guys. Don't panic. When I first did it, I scratched.
This is where I reached. I did not know how to continue from here.
All right. Let me see if I can. Okay. Okay. Let's see if that can happen. So we are starting with the. I've dragged. Okay. So you just drag whatever you have. If it's a QR1, you drag a QR1. If it's an FR1, you drag an FR1. So what I'm going to do on the blue icon, left click on my mouse, drag it to anywhere. Please make sure that you try and, okay, I'll show you the trick. Try and zoom this page as wider or as maximum as you can. So once you drag in, you need to choose, are you using a template design or you are using a blank design? So I am going to use a blank design because it's easier. I can do whatever I want with it. So let's now put the cards as how you have slotted them in. Your first card is the green card. This is the green card. Okay. Your second slot, you put a blue card. This is a blue card. Your third slot, according to what you showed me, you have got another blue card, which is your outputs. And number 5, another blue card. And then my last card is on number 6 because we got 5 blue and 1 green. So this represents my green and my blue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you have done this, you have told the QR1, the FR1, that you have got 1 input card and 5 output cards. You need to OK here. So you OK, it just gives you this. So what you do, you go right to the edge and you left click on the mouse. Okay, sorry, go to the edge with that arrow, left click on the mouse, simply drag to open up the device. So I want to see more. Okay, so I'm just dragging this so I can see exactly what is inside. You will notice, looking at the picture, the left-hand side will be your input. The right-hand side will be your output. You will notice it comes up with a code says S1, representing your first card. And then you have got output number 1, blue number 2, blue number 3, blue number 4, blue number 5. 1 second. All right. I see Emma is not there. I wait for him to come through. Okay. So dragging this to make it bigger, okay, dragging this to make it bigger or smaller is just for you or for me to see what I'm working with, okay? So I can make it small, doesn't matter, but I like working with this to be big so that at least I can, so I can, on my keyboard, keyboard, I'm just pressing the left and the right arrow to position it where I want, up and down arrow to move it where I want, or you can simply use your mouse to put it where you want on your screen. Okay, right. Once you've done this, the hardware is prepared. It's now prepped up. You now need to go inside the unit to then tell it what to do, because you've connected everything. You've downloaded this to the unit, but it will not route your music. So what we need to agree on is a template file. So what I'm going to do now, if I double click, okay, let's do this. Left mouse, double click inside here. It opens up this whole thing. This is why I was saying, don't panic. So what you are seeing now Okay, what you are seeing now was don't do that to them. So guys, what you're seeing here, all right, don't worry. Let me see if I can move my, yeah, that will be better. So what you're seeing basically where I've opened up here is basically this, what is inside here. Okay, this is the hardware. When you double click it, we are going inside now this Xilica to actually physically connect the hardware so that it can work. It's like you're doing, yeah, it's like you're doing what we call virtual wiring, where you would take your M9000 and, you know, on the back there with the Phoenix plug, you connect your cables. This is what you do with the Xilica, but you wire it internally. All right. So this is why I say, don't panic. We will get it right. So let me do this for you. I've opened up that. Okay. I'm just going to open that screen a little bit. No, Kramer is very, very difficult compared to this. This is nothing, guys. Don't worry. Difficult. That's serious programming. I can't even program one Kramer panel. I tried it and I gave up. I said it's not my forte. But this is not, it's not that difficult. So notice something. This is our right-hand side. Sorry, left-hand side. This is our right-hand side. So inside this unit, there are always, let me see. Inside these units, there are always these blocks. You don't have to use all these blocks every time, okay? All right, so you don't have to use these blocks every time. Let me do something because I'm relying on my headphone speakers. Let me just do this. Okay, cool. Right. Physically, you have these things that are inside. So let me give you a hint or a tip. So guys, my headphones are a little bit faulty. I don't know. Sometimes when you speak, I cannot hear. So if you are speaking, just wave your hand so that I can see if you want me to highlight something. So let's do this. You will see something called network logic, network vote, network logic, network vote, action. These are default blocks that come with the units, okay? So what I normally do, all these default blocks, I normally drag them somewhere like this, okay? I'm going to drag these default blocks somewhere on one side because I am not going to use them in this program. So I'm just dragging them to one side. These are all, I will explain, these are all, you see the color is also different. Okay, I'll drag the green one to the topmost and I'll drag these blue ones. So the card marked S2, S3, S4, S5, and S6, these cards that I'm dragging, these are representing your first blue card, your second blue card, your third blue card, your fourth blue card, your fifth blue card that you have installed at the back of your FR1. And this green card represents your analog card, the first card that you have installed in your FR1 at the back. All right. So where I was saying things get a bit intimidating is simply on this platform. All right. So the GPIO card we don't have, so we can leave them out of the equation for now. We just group these cards that are there. All right. So we are going to deal with the green card and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue cards, okay, that you physically have. And we are going to connect them to the output here and to the audio input here. You see, this is the audio input of the FR1. This is the audio output of the FR1. Let me do this. Let me just scroll those ones and let me just take them away. Let me just put them further down somewhere and leave them there so that I've got enough working space. Right. Emma and you, now it's the opposite, so it's gents and ladies. Okay, we had, so ladies and gents, what you need to do here, this is your green card. You need, okay, this is why I was saying, please make these cards or these drawings a little bit bigger so that you can see. So I'm going to do this. I'm just going to enlarge those cards so that you can see what we are doing. First things first, this is our input card, right? On the input card, there's an A representing your channel 1. There's a 2 representing your analog channel number 2. We would check on your FR1 at the back. The top section of that card is 1. The second section of that card is number 2. You have a 1 plus 1 minus a G, 2 plus 2 minus and a G. What it means is that is 1 watt, 1 cold, 1 earth. That's a balanced cable. Okay. Same as on the audio output on the blue, you'll have a 1 plus 1 minus and a G. That also means that's a balanced audio output, hot, cold, and earth. Okay, that's physical connection on the card itself. Okay, so what it means is I'm going to, are you okay?
Wait, I was told off. I need to put back everything.
All right. So
Yeah,
it's
but
boss.
no problem.
All right, boss. So what it means, everyone, is you have 2 sections of each card and 1, 2, 1, 2. These are representing your analog input number 1, your analog input number 2. Same as on the blue card, you have output number 1, output number 2. So this is where we are physically connecting everything. Let's take a look. Left arrow, okay, on your mouse. I'm going to click on the left button. You see it's highlighting in orange. And all I'm simply going to do is drag that orange. I think you can see it on my screen. Drag it to number 1. As soon as I drag it to number 1, you will see that A on number 1 will turn to a bright red color. Okay. If I let go of my button, it draws a line. Can you see that line, guys?
Yes.
You see that line? I can move this one. The line will follow. I can make it straight and move it across like this. So what it means is now physically, I've actually connected a wire between my analog input number 1 to analog input number 1 bus inside my frame. So let's do the next one is audio input number 2. Left click on the mouse. Left click on the mouse. Simply drag. Sorry, it cut. I couldn't hear.
No, I was coughing. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So you simply drag, as you see that A is coming along the line, drag it to wherever you want. You can connect it to number 2, for example. Let's do this. Let me drag it to number 32. You see, it will draw a line. What it means is physically inside your FR1, your signal on input number 1 will be appearing as if it's coming on input number 1. But your signal on card number 2 is physically going to come in on input number 32 of your FR1. So this is why I was saying this is where it might be a bit confusing. Just highlight that cable. Simply click delete, you delete it. I'm going to do it again. Left click on the mouse, drag that number to number 2. This means physically my card is now connected to analog input number 1. Analog input number 2 on the card is going to analog input number 2. So I have now 2 inputs as input 1 and input number 2. Okay, so basically input number 1, input number 2. I've got two inputs only. You need to connect the analog cards, these cards. You see, as soon as I pushed a card in, you can also do a collective group movement. All you simply do, highlight everything and just push them to one side. Okay, so you can do it individually, you can do it all together, doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect output number 1 over here to my card number 1, output number 1. So what I've done, basically, I'm telling my signal that you are going to have an analog output number 1. Your first blue card top, where is written 1 plus, 1 minus, and 1G. This is now the cable inside the unit connecting that card to the FR1. My second output, I'm going to do it likewise to that one. My third output.
but am I supposed to be 1, or is it supposed to start actually now from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
All right, that's a good one. Physically, you would look as if starting at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but this is actually output number 1. So on the input side, I only have input number 1 and 2. On card number 1, which is your blue card, it starts counting as output number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, until the last number here. So this is physically output number 1. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's open up that panel, that block a little bit. And I'm going to drag output number 3. So output number 3 means I am connecting this one physically to card number 2, output number 1. This is the blue card, card number 1, output number 1, and card number 1, output number 2. This is now physically card number 2, your blue card number 2, which is sitting in slot number 3, output number 1. Okay.
Can I have output number 1 to all 1, 2, 3, 4, all of them, or I need to do 1, 2, 3?
Oh, you mean connect this output to, as a parallel output to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, it's doable. Let me show you. If I come to here, okay, let's do this. I can take a line again here, check, and connect it. Aha. Let's check that one. Aha. So if I move the same output, okay, physically, if I move the same output on the FR1 and try and drag it there, you will see it will not highlight on the other side, which means I cannot split my physical output here to 2 different outputs, but I'll do it inside this unit. I'll do it on the software side to say whatever is appearing on output number 1, number 2, number 3, all the way through, I want it to appear on the same card. I'll show you how to do it inside this unit itself. So here we are just wiring the cards to map out the lines to the physical outputs. Okay, let me do number 4. Number 4 is now going to be card number 2, output number 3. So you can put your mouse over here and you can physically drag that line to go to where you want. We're just cleaning up space here. Once again, you don't have to clean up. As long as it's wired correctly, it will work. Okay. Emma, you've gone quiet, my friend. What's happening there?
I'm very okay.
All right. All right. Don't worry. It's not, don't be intimidated. It's fine. We'll come right. Okay. Let me do that for you. And let's do this for you. So as you are starting with different projects now, please make sure you, for the meantime, please make sure you get hold of me. I need to know for now, I would need to know what project you are doing, how many outputs or speaker outputs you are connecting, on output number 1 or amplifier number 1, what speaker you are connecting. And then what I will do, I will help you set up these pre-templates until you guys are on a good footing, and then you take it from there. So for the first couple of projects, I'll help you set it up because it's gonna be a little bit demanding. Then once you guys are on your sure footing, you can always do your own config file, send it to me and tell me, obviously, this is my order. This is what I'm setting up. Does this work? Then I will say, okay, correct here, correct there, until you guys are on sure footing, then you can just float with the project. All right, let me drag, let's finish up on the physical wiring. I'm putting all the wires now. I'm just using my arrow to the right to move it.
Yes, that's virtual wiring.
There we go. I'm just moving my again project to the right.
Software, the hardware.
Yeah, this is the physical wiring that we are doing. Though we are doing it on the computer, we are physically wiring the units up electronically inside. Right. Let me do that. Let me just move there. Let's do the last 2. All right. So we'll know our wiring for the input and for the output is done. But as you see, between the input and the output, we need to tell it what to do as well. So I've done that one. That's my last. So here, basically, I have output number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got 10 outputs. Right. Things that you can do. Okay. Let me do that one. over here, let me check that one. This is fine. Also check on analog input. That's also okay. Cool. So my units are wired. I can drag this, as you can see. I can move this any way I want it, and I can just correct the lines. So I'm going to drag this one back to give it a bit of space. Right. Right. One thing that I want you guys to remember, this is our input. This is our output. We have got 2 inputs. We have got 10 outputs. I can change my outputs. Okay, guys, you are not helping me here. There's something that I've wired wrong. Okay, so number 9 should go to here. Right, then I can move it to a better line position. Right, and then number 10, this one, I'm going to delete it and just connect it physically to here and then move my line across. Right, good. So I've got 10 inputs. So what I can do here, this is a 32 by 32, remember? But I am not using 32 channels. I'm only using 2 inputs to go to 10 outputs. You can come on here, right? Let's come on here. Let's just do this one first. Let's open up that one. Let's come to here, and I can do here and say, you can copy this one if you've got another input. You can save this one if you've got to a parameter. You can copy all that is in here if you have got another FR1 in the program. So suppose I'm programming 2 FR1s, whatever I've programmed here, I can simply copy there, dump into the next FR1. I'm done and dusted. Okay, so I want you to check here. If I come here, these things will tell me number of input and output modules. Here it says input modules. You can see them. It says 32. I can come on the drop down arrow and choose 2. Then it will ask me number of outputs. Okay, you need to be careful. So if you just say 2 here, it might give you just 2 outputs. Okay, and then here on the audio output, you can come to this module, left click. It will come ask you how many inputs are coming. If you click a wrong number, let's click number, let's say here we have got 16. Let's say, for example, 16. You see, it will take some of the outputs away and just give you 16. Let's say I have 10 physically. You will notice it has cleaned up the rest of the inputs that are output that I'm using and just given me 10. All right. So it tells me that I've got 10 speaker lines or 10 outputs that I'm going to drive. So instead of having this whole block, I can then minimize it just to represent exactly what I physically have. Okay, so I've got 2 inputs. I've got 10 outputs. Right, this is what we need to do now. Between this and this, you can do a simple thing. Just connect it to number 1. Connect it to number 2 if you want. This is what Boaz was asking me. From 1 input, I'm just splitting it to all outputs. It's doable, okay? As you can see, I've connected input number 1 to output number 1, 2, 3, 4. I can do this to all the outputs, okay? Or I can do it simpler. I can simply say out number 1, let's do first, to number 5, and do number 2 to number 6. Number 2 again, sorry, number 2 to number 7, number 2 to number 8, and then number 2 to number 9, number 2 to number 10. What I've just said, what I've just done here is simply to connect input number 1 to output number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Input number 2 to output number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, sorry, 5, 6, sorry, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Meaning I'm trying to place. Yeah,
now, can I do input 1 and 2 to all outputs?
Yes. Yes, we can. Let's do this, boss. Let's do this. Let me go that one. So boss's question is input number 2 to all outputs. Let's do this first as input number 1 to all outputs. Okay. Yes, as you can see, I've done input number 1 to all outputs. So whatever I am playing from input number 1, it can go to all outputs. Whatever I want on input number 2, if I want, okay, because I've occupied all my inputs, you can see that I cannot allocate it there, but I can then change my connections over here, take it out and have output number 2 routing to all inputs, outputs. So the choice is you can have input number 1 going to all out, input number 2 going to all out. You cannot have input number 1 mixed with input number 2 going to all 10 outputs. You okay there?
No.
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 Okay, wait, I cannot have, okay, this is, let me do this. You cannot have input number 1 here, sorry, which is your input number 1. You cannot physically wire this input number 1 in parallel to 1 to 10 and get input number 2 also wired in parallel to the same 1 to 10.
So how do you do it?
You do it on the, okay, you do it on the software in the inside when you actually program it. Okay, you want to combine input number 1 and 2, correct? To then wire the output to 1 to 10. Is that what you want to achieve?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Right, so what you then do, you come again over here, you choose a summer. These are mixers. You choose a matrix mixer like your M9000. You choose an input selector, okay? You can choose an output selector. You can choose these, all these things. Let's try and choose one. Let me choose, okay, that's a 2. Let's also choose a summer. I'm just going to show you the difference. Okay, if you choose a summer is going to sum 2 of your inputs that you are playing and give me 1 output, then I will connect to my 10 speaker lines. Which means if I am playing any signal on input 1 and input 2, they are going to be combined. A summer is an adder. It's going to add those 2 inputs and give me 1 output. So let's do it with the summer first. I can then connect input number 1 to my sum input number 1, input number 2 to my sum output number. So
this is a virtual mixer. I don't need a mixer.
Yes. Thank you, boss. This is a virtual mixer. So I am now mixing my 2 inputs, and then I can now have 1 single output that can now go to all my 10 outputs. Sorry. So this is a virtual.
Okay. But then if you do the solo mixer, you can mix and play between which one goes where. That's the difference between the summer and the solo mixer.
Yes.
You have 2 and 2. You'll have another interface for the 2 mixers. You'll be able to mix. But first, we don't need to mix.
No, yes.
We just need.
Okay.
If you have 2 inputs, different inputs.
Okay. For our showroom, this is simple. But if you have a client and you want to do the mixing between the inputs and to the various outputs, then you put either. So you see all of those mixers here. So you choose this matrix mixer that you can do whatever to whatever. But for us, it's very simple in the showroom. But it depends on the client and the brief.
But then,
yes.
Now on the summer, I can sum any, even though because now maybe at one point you need to add more inputs. Still.
No, maybe you need another mixer. Does the summer gives you the number of according to your inputs? If I had 4 inputs, the summer will have 4 inputs?
Yeah.
Yes. You come here on the software, you tell it how many inputs you want. So I can even put 8. Okay, let's go for 4 inputs. You can sum them to 1 output.
Okay. So this is a distribution amplifier. This is a matrix. You get
yes.
This is a distribution file. This is a mix. Yeah, but okay, cool. Very nice.
Awesome. So this is the physical mixing desk that we normally have in our church. This will represent all the microphones coming in, and then you mix them to 1 output if you want. Okay, so this is what is called a summer. A solo mixer is what exactly Boaz had said. You'll have 1 input going to a dedicated output. So here I'll have, for example, 5 inputs. They are all going out separately in solo mode, in mono mode to 5 outputs. And then I can then say, if I put this one here, all right, I can be able to do some certain things, all right, like this. I'm splitting my outputs there to 2 here, and then I can then route this one to any 2 outputs that I want here. So this is a solo mixer. So solo means input to an output. Summer means you can add all 16 inputs and go out as one output to your output. Then you split to all your output zones. Okay. All right. Let's take a look.
Now,
Wait.
now, for the summer, I can take inputs to all the outputs.
To
What
one
if I
output.
want to do what I want to have?
No, you remove the sum and then you put the solo or a matrix mixer or whatever mixer you have there. You see, you have other mixers.
Let me bring this one in. This is a matrix mixer that Boaz is explaining. Let me also give you something there to talk about. Just this one. Let me talk some. Yeah, this one is good because you guys might use this one. Let's have a look. So this is a matrix mixer. Okay. On the matrix mixer, you can also choose the number of inputs on the matrix mixer. Okay. Let's do this. Come on. So let's try this one first. Let's go for, oh, come on. So it's my mouse. Let me use my hand here. Sorry, my mouse is sticking for some reason. Let's choose something here. Let me see.
No, why?
Because the summer, if I have two separate inputs, I have, if I want to play, for example, input 1 on all the,
It's never in the showroom.
Yeah,
It's never going to.
okay.
You just want to play with it, fine. But in the showroom, it's never happening that you're playing two sources in the same time. A client at home, yes. King Kalisa maybe wants the TV here, the radio there, the streamer, yes. In the showroom, never. You see the matrix now? He has done 8 by 4.
Yes. So this can represent in a matrix of 8 by 4. Okay. To be realistic, we can change that matrix to 2 by 4. Let me show you. If here we can choose a 2 like this. This is a 2 by 4, meaning I can tap in. Let's do this. I am connecting number 1 here. I am connecting number 2 there. So these are my 2 inputs that are going to my matrix. I can then choose exactly what Boaz was saying, M9000. I can then choose where I want each of these input to go, depending on what is available over here. So let me do this. Let me take number 8, number 9 and 10 out, and then map this one to number 9 and map this one to number 10, just for you to understand. Once I've done this, the secret is you double click into this one and you simply open that panel. This is your matrix. You then come here to say input number 1, I want you to go to output number 1. Input number 1, I also want you to go to output number 3. This is how you're now matrixing. Input number 2, I want you to go to output number 2. Input number 2, I want you to appear also on output number 4. So let's enable those ones. So input number 2, there you go. So this is a matrix to say, if I am choosing scene number 1, I'll have input number 1 only going to output number 1, and input number 1 only routed to output number 3. Let's do this so that it becomes more sensible. Like, so input number 1 is going to be routed to output number 1. The same input number 1 is going to be streamed to output number 3. And input number 2 is simultaneous at the same time, is going to appear at output number 2, and the same is going to be streamed to output number 4. So this is a matrix, right? So what you can do once you do a matrix like this, you can then store it as a preset to say, whenever I am hitting preset number 1, whatever is input number 1, I will hear that sound at output number 1 and output number 3, and whatever is appearing on input number 2, I'll hear that sound on output number 2 and output number 4. So this is what we call the matrix. So you see the matrix is different to what you see here on the summer, okay? So the matrix is way different to what you would see inside a summer. So a summer, you just basically input, summing them up to an output. A matrix, you choose which input goes to which output. Okay, let's delete so that we don't confuse each other. If you choose an input selector, right, this might be handy. Look, I have got input 1 and input 2. Let's, for argument's sake, say in our demo room, we've got 2 music sources, your CD player, your FM tuner. If you do this, it's going to do this. It's going to mix your sound from the FM and from the CD and route it as one single sound to hear. I don't want to, your client is going to scream at you because you are hearing 2 sound, one from FM, one from the CD or MP3 player as one output. In this setup, you would want to have an option of selecting input 1 or input 2 and you route it out, correct? So what you'll then do, you can use an input selector. Let's have a look. Input selector, number 1, let me cancel that. Let's highlight it. Let's tell it you are going to be 2 channels. So I'm going to select 2 channels or 2 inputs and go to 1 output. On my summer, I can then tell my summer that you are going to have number of inputs. Okay, I can do that. So I can then delete this line. I just want you guys to follow. Like I said, please don't panic. We will come right. So I am going to connect output number 1 to input number 1. I am going to connect output number 1 here, which is input number 1 here. Okay, cool. And let me move this one that side. I have a selector and an output. I'm going to stream my output to input number 1. And I can do that again to input number 2. All right. Guys, what I've done is, this is exactly what Boaz was asking me. Out of my input selector, I'm splitting that signal to channel 1 and channel 2. That's all. And this is getting summed up again today, which is a repetition. I can just delete this. This will do the same. Whatever is appearing on 1 will be split out to my outputs. Okay, it's doable. Let me show you inside this unit. Okay. You can then choose to, yes, go ahead.
Why not remove the summer completely?
They're actually doing the same thing.
Very doable. Very doable.
Is the input selector and summer not doing the same? Only that summer is a mixer and the input selector is the input selector, but they're doing the same.
It's doing equally the same. It's doing the same. The only difference where it will not do the same is if you choose to do this one. Okay. If you then say, I want whatever is appearing here, let me show you where you'd use a selector. Let me take that one out. And let's use a pink noise generator to test our speakers before commissioning on site. Then connect that one. Okay, let's just do that and do this. Okay, what I've done, I've got output number 2 here. Okay, here is input 1 with our FM tuner. Here's input 2 with our CD player. Check what happens. The CD player will always be routed to the summer, straight out to my speakers. But I have an option of doing this, of either mixing or choosing my FM to go to the speakers or my pink noise generator to go to the speakers via an input selector. What it means is, if you go
You're lost. No, it is done. Okay, repeat this. This is very smart.
It is.
Repeat, please, for Emma.
It is. You can actually have a pink noise or a sweep generator, okay, to actually test your speakers for functionality. They are tuned, okay, they are fine-tuned, okay, before you even start playing. Imagine you're doing this in a live hall. The moment, I know DJs, I don't like them. The moment you switch on sound, these people are like, it doesn't sound okay. It's because you are switching on sound and you haven't processed your speakers. So what do? You switch on your sound. You want to make sure that every speaker is connected. You run a pink noise into the speakers. Then you hear this coming through the speakers. You go to each speaker. You know you are happy. You do your speaker equalization. Then after you switch off pink noise and you start pushing your music through, you will see the difference. You will hear the difference. So this is what I always do when I'm setting up sound in a church, in a hall. I never use live sound. I do pink noise, make sure that everything is running. Then I do my speaker equalization. Then finally, I introduce my music or voice. Then I know I'm done and dusted. Okay, right. So let's delete everything. Let's go back to our initial. We'll come across this later on. Okay, let's do our simple programming. There we are, 2 inputs that I can choose, going to 2 outputs. So basically, guys, if you are to dump this configuration file into the FR1, it's gonna switch on. You put an input or inputs, you go to outputs, sound is going to play immediately because your input cards are now connected to the input channels. They are routed to an internal electronic summer. They are being mixed out to all your outputs. Every little speaker that you have connected to the output zones, they are going to start working. This is a basic plain configuration file for your FR1. Simple.
I have a question.
Right.
Regarding.
You guys happy? So far?
Yes, very, but yeah, she's having a question. A second.
The summer. I think I'm confused. When the summer just combine I want to be able to, if I have a Denon player and then maybe a Helios, I want to be able to, when I click on, input 1, it plays on the Denon, and then input 2 plays on the Helios.
Yes.
They can actually play. Okay, right now in audio, it's not like in video.
Okay.
They can play together, overlapping on each other. In video, you cannot do that. In audio, no problem. They are mixed together. They will work. But if you want to select, then you need a mixer or the solo. But again, in the showroom scenario, summer is very sufficient.
Yes, but now what if both of them are on?
Yeah.
They will play in the same time, no problem. In audio, it's not a problem.
So will it
You'll get mixed sound overlapping each other. In video, you get a conflict.
Yes.
You don't get an image. You need to mix.
Yes.
In audio, if you put 2, you can combine audio 1 on top, even 3, even 4. It depends on the output that comes from the audio source.
Yes.
They can play all together.
I'm playing from the Denon, one has to go.
Yes, which is always the scenario in the
Yes.
showroom. You have never played 2 devices in the same time.
Okay.
Not to mention that you actually have the matrix because one goes through the video and one goes for now the audio. So either way, you're not going to be able to play 2 together by your setup of the showroom because one is video. And the moment you do the video, it's switching. And the other one is audio. So actually one is for the embedder, the other one is from the audio. You're now introducing an audio input. Even before we had the media player and the video. You will switch.
So that's
By the showroom you switch. Yes, you cannot play from your showroom equipment 2 together. If I put 2 EOSs, now you have 2 together. But still, it's not a problem for a home. For a client, yes, they want to mix. In the showroom scenario, no problem. You use summer.
too obvious. Now maybe I'm rushing on the summer.
Yes.
Because now I have also subs. That is the
Yeah, no problem. But this is input. Now you're going to the DSP element. This is now set up, and it says now it is working. We have not touched volume controllers. We have not balanced anything. We have not changed crossover, nothing.
Oh.
But right now, as you load this to here, sound pass through. Rubbish, but pass. Rubbish in, rubbish out. Now you need to manage it. 5, HX7, ceiling speakers, all of the DSP is there. It's not yet open. It's going now to double click on each output or input and manage the equalization and the sound processing of each output. But this is just wiring. Now the system is working. This is now you're putting a normal mixer and you have not touched the equalization. You have not connected crossover. It fits sound. Now you need to start balancing and playing.
The balancing is mostly on the output, right?
Depends.
Yes.
Right.
So the input, you balance the input the way you want, and but yeah, obvious, you take it from here.
Right. I actually like the discussion that was going on because I was also listening in. That's true. This is just a basic contemporary program. We haven't done any DSP. We haven't chosen what you want. So your setup now in the demo room might be what Emma was asking. You might want only to play, for example, maybe your output number 1 is your HX7. You might want to select HX7 when a client comes in and you play only to HX7. Or you might want to play HX7 with your FB150s. You might want to play HX5 separately, HX5 combined with. So this now, like Boz was exactly saying, this is like a flat signal going to all the speakers. But if you want to be able to, on your select panel, you want to be able to say, okay, you only came here because you want to listen to the HX7 and the FB150s. We can actually put a matrix now after the summer to then split up our signal to go to exactly where we want. Okay, so this is a basic template. Let me do this. Let me save as, so that I have this basic template. Then we start creating a different template for you for your demo.
Another thing that you have, for example, you're talking about the line managing. So this is now, we didn't define if this line is auxiliary or balanced for microphone, like what you had on the speakers the other day. So you need also to set, even this you need to set up. It is not yet configured. Right now it's rubbish in, rubbish out. Is it by default auxiliary or by default it's a microphone or balanced?
These inputs are balanced by default and line level. So if you are using a microphone, you have to change them to mic level. I'll show you just now.
So this is the small things now you need to adjust.
Right, I've created a folder for you. I'm gonna put everything here and share this folder with you soon after our session. Let me just do that. Let me copy everything here. Right, so let's go and open up our folder. Okay, 1 second. I'm just saving this in a folder somewhere. Okay, so let's give it a name. All right, so let's save that one. You see, I've saved your folder. I've given it a name here. So this is now going to be our just test sample. So what we are going to do now, let's remove these guys to create something. Right, just to remove those 2 lines. So I'm just clicking on the line and then just deleting. Press delete. Click on the line, changes to yellow. Click delete. Right. Let's introduce a matrix here. Let's introduce, where's my matrix? Over here. So I'm going to tell my matrix that we have got 10 outputs, correct? Because we have got 10 outputs here. Sorry, my mouse is going crazy today. There we go. Right. So I'm going to introduce a matrix here, right? And check, I'm going to connect that one to the matrix. All right. I'm going now to connect output number 1 to 1, output number 1. So whatever is coming from this mixer, I can then pretty much select where I want it to go. So this is the idea behind it. This is how flexible the Xilica series is. You virtually have a box, and inside the box, you have got all these things that you can do to make it matrix, mixer, room combiner, anything that you want. Okay, so what I'm going to do what I'm going to do here, you're gonna check something with you. Right, check. If I double click in here, you see that my outputs are all enabled, all right? Okay, so all I need to do now is to create my inputs. So I can just click like this. Okay, this means as soon as I switch on the M9000, right? Whatever is coming into the matrix is going to be routed all. So this is like all speakers playing. And I can save this one as preset number 1, right? Preset number 1. Then I can come and say, I want only my HX7 connected to output number 1, okay, to play. Then I save this as scene number 2. I create another one. My FB150s are connected to output number 2. So I'll have this scene with HX7 and FB150. So what I'm basically doing, guys, is I'm basically saying whenever I receive my signal, I am choosing which of the speakers or a speaker combination must come on. Right. We'll do that exercise now so that it makes sense. Let's do the first one. Let's come here so that it makes sense to everyone. Let me just close that one. I need here to label. So I am going to go into this unit. Okay, you can see these are my volume controls per each output. Then I've got output number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, up to number 10. I don't know what you have connected physically on your M9000. So let me see if I still have a copy of your M9000. I think I had M9000 somewhere. I've just changed my file. Okay. I'm just checking a file. I want to see if I still have it. If I don't, then I'll just have to look for it. sorry, guys. Okay, I don't have.
No problem. I can tell you what we're going to put.
So
Supposedly.
Right.
Let's say that output number one is going to the VM3000.
Audio output, and I'm going to go to A. Let's see. I'm going to put a label for A to represent my HX7. So you were seeing these A's, whatever it was, okay? So I'm now labeling them. Let me just show you how it's done. You put HX7 there. That's wrong. HX7. Okay. You will notice as soon as I've done this name that was said 1 changes to HX7. I'm naming my outputs according to where or how these are wired to my amplifiers. So if my output number 2, okay, is going to be connected to the FB150s, this is what I'll do. I'll do FB150. I'll just name a few so that and hit enter. All right. My output number 3 is, let's say, for example, is connected to HX5. So I'm going to do there HX5, just to give you a hint. Output number 4 is going to be my FB120, sorry, for the HX5 sub. Okay, I've done this. What it means is, I can close this one. What it means is, you can see here, it's actually telling me now that output number 1, which is your first blue card, okay, blue card number 1, where it says number 1, the top part, you are going to connect to the amplifier that's driving your HX7. The same card, the bottom part where it says 2A, 2 plus 2 minus 2G, okay, you are going to connect that cable to the amplifier driving your FB150, all right? And on the second card, the top side, you are going to connect that cable to the amplifier, input amplifier of the amplifier that's driving your HX5. And then this second card, last slot at the bottom, you are going to connect that cable physically to the input channel of the amplifier that is driving your FB120s. So basically, I've connected 4 outputs out of my Xilica unit to 4 input channels of my amplifiers. Let's do this. We want, according to Emma, you would want, when a client comes in, he only is interested in the HX7, okay? You want to fire the HX7 alone without the rest of the speakers coming on. This is what you then do. You will come to the matrix, okay? Let's name them properly here. Let's do this. Let me open up there. So I'm going to put that one as HX7 as well and click enter. You will see as soon as I've labeled it will go through the signal chain. I'm going to do that one as FB150. Press enter. I'm just labeling that the matrix. This one is going to be my HX5. Hit enter. Okay, sorry, HX5. I'm just labeling this input so that 1, 2, 3, 4 is represented by the actual speaker line, FB120, enter. So as you notice, now I know my output number 1, if you follow this signal chain, let's follow it. Output number 1 here, the signal goes to the HX7, it comes out to HX7, it goes to HX7. That means on the blue card, the first blue card, top section, you connect that cable to your DA amplifier that is firing or that is driving your HX7. On the same first card, the bottom part, which is your output number 2, you then connect that cable physically to the audio input, hot, cold, and earth of your DA amplifier or whatever amplifier you're using that is firing the FB150. Now, let's come to the program. Let's double click into here. I'm going to create the first channel, the first scene, all right? That is going to be only HX7. So I come here, input number 1, which is here, all right? If your input is also confusing, you can name it, but I'm not going to do it now. So input number 1 is only the HX7. You can see input is going to only HX7. What do? I then preserve this as a preset. Okay, let me add that onto a preset. Let me add that onto a preset. Project presets. Let's check. Okay, so this one hasn't got a project preset yet. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm just saving this to my preset number 1. So I click on there, right click on the mouse, save module, and I'm going to create a new preset. Let's do this. This preset is preset number 1. Okay. I can name it as you're going to be HX7 only. So I'm now creating what you normally do with an M9000. So here is HX7 only. You will notice I've created that preset. I can create the second preset where is HX7 plus FB150. This is my second preset. I come here, I say save to preset, create new preset. This is going to be HX7, all right, plus FB. Oh, sorry, I'm not paying attention. This is going to be HX7 plus FB. Okay, right. You see 2 presets that I've done. Okay, let's create a third and a fourth preset. Then we talk about it. So I'm going to create the next preset. I'm going to switch off there. I want the next preset to be only HX5 because you can demo an HX5 alone. So the third preset here is an HX5. I come back here, okay? I do right click, save this one. I create a new preset called HX5. So preset number 3 is HX5. Okay, right? Preset number 4, I'm going to have the HX5 firing together with the FB1 with the bass bin. So I come back here, I create a new preset, save module to a new preset called HX5 plus FB150. This is the matrix that you normally do on your M9000s plus 150. Oh, 120, sorry. I chose 120 there. Right. Right, what I've done, check here, what I've done. If I am to just pay attention to here, if I am going to come to my presets and select, I'm going to select this preset. Check. It tells me when this is active, only the HX7 is going to be working. Okay, so whatever is coming from my input is going to play only in the HX7. Check here. I'm going to do the next preset, HX7 by plus FB150. Pay attention to what's going to change here. Check again. You can see I've loaded that preset. Immediately, my HX7 and my sub bass bin will start firing. Next preset, I'm going to choose HX5. As soon as I do it, my HX5 is the only one that's going to play whatever is coming from my music source. The next preset, number 4, my HX5 plus my bass bin are playing. So this is the secret to doing it in the demo room. We can create every single preset for all your outputs firing into your ceiling speakers if you want, into your own speakers if you want, into any speaker that you've mounted. So
just a second.
Which speakers are connected to which amplifier, to which speaker line. Then we can do these whole presets. At the end of this, if I send you this config file, you dump it in the FR1, immediately your demo room starts working. All you will need is to be able to control this live by the laptop, choose the preset that you want, or from the tablet, choose the preset that you want, and immediately you
Just
can
a
select
second.
any speaker to play and or any speaker combination to play. So far, so good?
Yes, obvious. You can get me?
Yes.
Okay, wait. So for now, until now, we've been playing with amplifiers. But now when we're going for control and Xilica, all amplifiers will always be on to the full capacity, and we will manage everything from the tablet or from the remote control or from whatever. From the Xilica, not the old way we've been doing, everything will be done from the tablet. You want to hear the VM, you press here, the VM will go on. Yeah, everything will be set to the level they're supposed to be, so that everything, all amplifiers will be on, will be on max, and everything will be set from the Xilica, balance from the Xilica.
Okay. But then, okay, so it means only from the tab. I cannot do select from the front panel of the FR1.
You can, but the whole idea is that it is a smart solution. You can manage the Xilica. No, you see here, there's nothing, there's no buttons.
No,
Here, I believe it's only IP. Yes, I know what you have there. I think you can only see IP and whatever. I don't know if you can you select anything from the FR1 front panel? Any presets?
No. FR1, QR1 front panel, no, but you can do that from the WXP module, the wall control module, or from the tablet, or from the laptop.
Okay. No, we will use this tablet. Or we'll get another one like this and we'll put it on the wall and we manage everything from there. Yeah. So we'll manage everything now from the Xilica, not from the amplifiers, up, down, left. And nice thing, instead of telling you come and put volume, I'll put it on my phone and from outside I'll manage the volume of the HX5, HX7, the outdoor speakers. No put for me volume, touch, what everything will be on the phone. Yeah? Any other question? Let's continue.
Okay,
This
great
is
stuff.
what this guy, oh, the IT Expo, the one who went at
Yeah, but this.
Yeah, all
Yes, but even the RCF wireless mixer, this is where Toa was sleeping. But most mixers today with the Wi-Fi, even the X-Touch, the touch mix, you can do on the tablet. He knows how to do it. He has it on his phone, Isma. But yes, this is not for the showroom. Everything will be on our tablet, on our mobiles, and we manage. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Okay, let's continue.
Great stuff. So once again, what we have done like a speaker selection function, but remember, like Boaz has said, we haven't done any DSP. So this file will work for general setup where we are not activating any DSP. So let me save this file as a different file. So let me save as, all right, I'm gonna save it because I'm gonna share with you all these templates, okay? I'm gonna do that and then say here.
Without DSP.
Yeah, then I just write for you, matrix, SP. So where I'm saying SPK will represent speaker control, where you can do speaker selection. So this one, the second file will be SPK representing my speaker control. That's the matrix part. Okay. So here,
let's just add, just for the fun of it, on output 5, you put A2000.
On output number 5. Okay.
And on output 6, you can put VM, or we call it ceiling speakers. No, right. VM 3000.
Okay.
Okay, now from there we can continue.
All right, excellent. So great. So we have, sorry, we've done that. Okay, cool.
Sorry, what's the difference in your audio output between the pink and the green?
Between the, this and that.
Yes.
Okay, the pink represents normally connections that you are doing virtual inside the FR1, and then the green will represent your links to an external module. So if you see here, this is what is linking the green card to physical unit inside the unit, and then the green here will link your your circuit to the actual blue card that we have, the 5 blue cards that we have physically on the
Pink is
device.
virtual, green is actual. Okay.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so far so good. Right.
Okay.
Let's do this.
You lost it.
Please,
Where
guys.
is it? Yes.
Whenever you're programming Pro Audio, if I double click into audio input number 1, double click, it gives me these 2 volume controls. All right. You can see input number 1 volume control, input number 2 volume control. So I can adjust the input of music 1 and music 2. Always we recommend that you keep this value at 0. Along the signal chain, let everything run at 0. Okay. Don't push it up because you might have distortion along the line. So keep it on 0 for now. Then what you then do physically, when you have set it up, everything is running, then you can then adjust your volume going up and adjust your volume coming down, but your reference point remains as 0. Okay. So if I come again to the audio output, which is now you see, I can independently adjust the volume of each area or each speaker line or the volume coming to the input of my A2000. Reference value is 0, all right, which is a neutral value. And then if the HX7 is sounding softer, then I push up only for the HX7 to the level that we want to achieve. That's all. So I've double clicked onto the audio output. It gives me the volume controls. All right, let's do this. So we are done. There's something missing in our controls, correct? We only made the mixer. We are happy with the mixer. We only have the audio output. What else is mixing? Let me see what I can do for you. There is input output selector. We don't worry about that one. There is, let me just check here. Let me check here. I just want to introduce a couple of things that you guys might find. There's a speaker. Where are you hiding? Let me just check something quickly. Sorry, guys. Let me just check.
You were supposed to show me how to change between balanced and unbalanced, or mic level on auxiliary level before you're going there.
Okay. Double click over here. Double click over here. All right. If you double click onto the green card, the input card, double click, it opens up. It asks you, number 1, are you using a mic level or a line level? So if we are connecting a CD player, cell phone, anything from a DVD player as a music source, this is line level. If we are going to connect a PM660, for example, PM660U, 660, 660D, then you need to change this one to a line level. Okay. By line level, it stands on line. As long as you go to 612, going all the way to 42, this is now making it more sensitive. 42 dB, this means it's line level. So from 6 dB here, all the way to 42 dB, this is now changing it to mic level, right? If your microphone is an EM400, EM410, EM800, 600, 700 from Tower, that's an electret microphone. You need to activate phantom power. So the Xilica, once again, does this magic. You can choose any microphone. If this is a condenser microphone, like the EM series from Tower, then you just activate phantom power, done and dusted. It will then switch on that microphone. It will supply power to that microphone, and that microphone will work. So you need to be careful. Choose. If the microphone sounds too loud and too sensitive, reduce the sensitivity here until that microphone works perfectly. Okay, so when you are dealing with this, there's 2 characteristics like Boaz has asked. You can make it mic level, you can make it line level. Then if you want to make it a mono signal or a balanced signal, this is physical connection on the amplifier itself, on the modules and the amplifier itself. Let's come here. If you are running RCA cable, 3.5 mil jack from your cell phone, 3.5 mil jack from your laptop audio, you're streaming music from YouTube, from Spotify, please, there's confusion. That is not a stereo signal. It's a split left and right signal. So what you will do, you plug in your 3.5 mil jack into your phone. The other side of the cable, you cut and strip. So the tip coming from your left and right, the 2 first splits from your 3.5 mil jack, you twist the 2 cables together. That's a left and right signal. You twist the 2 cables together, you connect them to 1+. The shield cable, which is your earth cable from the stereo jack, you connect it to 1-, then you put a loop, a small link cable between 1- and G. That makes it a mono signal with right and left signal mixed.
Yes, that button.
Let's
Oh,
go
that
over it
cable.
again. All right, let's go over it again. Let's do this.
You can, let me also help. So when you
Okay.
get your RCA cable, you have two composite, whatever, two RCA connectors.
Yeah.
This is stereo, it's 2 channels. But when you connect it, you can do, yeah, he's opened it. But can you put back the QR1?
Yes.
Anyway, just put the QR1 again.
Mhm.
So you can connect it in a mono way or in a stereo way. A
Yes.
mono way, you take the earthing and you put just one, oops, and then you put the red and the white in those ones. However,
Yes.
this is mono. If you want to do stereo, that's what I believe is going. You'll have both channels connected with your RCA. So you'll have the earthing of, in the RCA, you have 4 wires.
Yes.
You have one earthing in red and one earthing in white.
Mm-hmm.
We're together. There's red with earthing and white with earthing. If you do them mono, you do on one channel. If you want them stereo, you do the earthing in red and the earthing in right.
That's correct.
Now you have 2 channels occupied, left and right. But on our settings, because nothing here is in stereo, we're on a 100-volt line, everything can be in mono.
Yes.
But when you're going to feed 2 HX7s and you want stereo signal because you want rich sound, you'll have to consider one card as one channel, but it's a stereo. So you'll have 2 channels feeding. Am I clear on that?
The 2 channels feeding one HX7.
You see? Yeah, he's moving with the mouse for me. You'll connect the earthing to the +1, or no, to the 1G, I think, or whatever.
Yes.
And the red -1. Then you'll have the earthing of the white one to 2G, to the ground, plus to the -2, the white one.
Correct.
So you are now taking both channels to left and right.
Correct. Correct.
You understand?
So yeah, exactly as Boaz has said, this channel ceases to be 2 inputs. It becomes a
So
single
in our
input
case, we're
with
getting
left and
mono,
right.
not in stereo.
Yes.
Okay.
It's only for the HX that will be different. Or
No. Forget that. I'm saying if you have a setup of a church and you have left and right setup with 2 amplifiers and you want rich sound, you'll have to consider this as a 1 channel, not as 2 channels, because you'll feed from the mixer that they will have a professional mixer or even our mixer. You'll want to have left and right for the HX left and right. If you have what you call pro sound, ours is installation sound. 100-volt line always send 1 signal. Does not have any of the amplifiers, the VM or they give you 1 line out on the 100-volt. It's mono. All the speakers here are mono. We're not playing anything in stereo. Yes?
That is correct.
Bluetooth is stereo. But because we are feeding everything on mono and on a 100-volt line, we just need to use one line. But if it was a pro sound installation, you need to consider the stereo. And then it's going to show you, I've seen it also on the software, there's managing left-right input, which I believe that's where it's going now next.
Yeah.
You'll see now on the software, here, going to go here. When it was scrolling, I saw it there. Only I didn't click. There's somewhere here, left-right. It's going to scroll, and you'll see left-right input managing. Very nice.
Okay. So far so good.
See the way left right mixer. Here it is, left right mixer. This one. Right, left. But for us, we don't need it for now. On our showroom setup, it's all 100 watt line.
Okay. Exactly as explained, there's a stereo mixer. Okay. So again, guys, the whole equation here gets solved by playing with the equipment. Whenever you've got time, play with it. That helps you understand how everything gets set up together. But okay, let's now do a few more extra things. I've showed you, if you double click into the audio input, you get the 2 volume controls. You also notice on top of the volume controls, you have what is called a VU meter or a VU meter. If your signal is running, this will be flashing to show you that you are playing signal, all right? You do have, so if you want to be complex, excuse me, you are now comfortable with the programming, you can actually put a VU meter. Let me show you what you do. You go to your meters. Let me see where they are hiding. Just to, I'll do one for you, just to have an input. Let me see, signals. Where are you? RS meter. So you can put an RS meter here, for example. And what you do, you open it up. You can put one per every channel. Let me choose HX7 and do this. All right. So if I double click, if I am playing music onto my HX7 and I double click in there, I'll see the music, I can see the blue meters going up. Then I know, okay, this signal is traveling all the way to here. If there's no output, it means my problem is in this box. Okay, so you can monitor your signal as it travels around. I can put the same here, check, right? And I can connect it to this output. Should do. Oh, sorry. Let's put it to the pink one because this is virtual. Okay, and I can do this. So I can actually monitor whatever is coming from my music source on output number 1. If I see a signal here and I don't see a signal here, it means my problem lies between this and that. So you can put this as many as you want. You are not limited. You can put as many as you want along the signal path so that you can monitor your signal as it plays. All right, cool. That's called an RSM meter. You can put this one. I'm going to delete it for now. Okay, right. So, right, we've done a basic setting with our selection. I've shown you on the audio outputs panel what you can do. Right, let's do a bit more. Let's have a speaker output here now. Let's go to my equalizers. Let me check. There's loudspeaker management. I'm going to drag a loudspeaker management there for now. Right, then I can see what else I can put under my parametric equalizer. Let me drag something. Then I need a gain, which is a normal volume control. It's already existing. I can put 1. I can need a mute. I'm just now complicating things for us, but I'm creating a signal chain for you. And then you can have an inverter if you want, just to invert the signal. If somebody wires it wrong, as Boaz was explaining, if you wire the hot going to the cold and the cold going to the hot, you vice versa the wiring, you can put a signal invert. It will physically invert the signal electronically so that your hot goes to the hot, your cold goes to the cold. Okay, that's called a signal inverter. Let's do that. I will not make it too much. Let me put a 500 millisecond delay over there, but I think it's coming over here as well. Right, what else can we put? So I'll put 1 RS meter. I'm just complicating things like I've told you. This is now the real thing behind everything.
How do you do the subwoofer? You need a crossover?
Yeah, we can do a crossover. We can also do under parametric equalization. I'll show you how you manipulate it on the parametric equalization. Right.
You're going to do the crossover with the EQ.
Yes, correct. With the EQ, that's correct. Yes. So gain is simple, guys. Double click here. It's a volume control. All right. What do? We need more space. Let me close that channel. Let me move these guys to one side. Be nice to me, please. I've got case. Okay. Right on. I'll move those ones. I'm just trying to shift this drawing to as more further right as I possibly can. To my further right, I'll correct that wiring on the first shoe. Let's have space there. Okay. Then we had those two.
Gain. Yeah.
You'll see what it's going to do. You're following? You're lost? No. You? You're swimming? You? Walking? Swimming? Running?
Right. You see here, guys, between here, I don't have any PEQs. I don't have anything to control my signal. I don't have anything to enhance my signal. What I'm going to do, I'm going to delete that line that's linking the HX7, all right, to the HX7. Then I'm going to manipulate this. I'm just connecting these ones together, all right? I'm connecting them, as you can see. I'm putting those cables. Very fun enough, guys. I don't know if this could be a joke, but I want to share with you this experience. I did, first program that I did, okay, I got excited. I put all these little magic blocks in between. I put them in between the signal line. And as I was working with this, okay, and as I dragged this to where I wanted it to go, for example, I wanted to fit here, okay, I connected one side of the cable to here. Then in between here, one of my cables was not connected. I had signal playing, but my HX7 will not fire up. So it is critical that anything along the signal path, you connect it. I think Boaz is intimidating you guys. So anything along the signal path, guys.
But it's very easy to troubleshoot and see.
Very, very easy. Very easy. Just put an RMS meter. As long as your signal does not appear on the RMS meter, you know exactly where your problem is. So like I said, you need big space. So I'm just moving these guys along so that I can fit whatever I want to fit. There's enough space there. So I'm just going to do control and highlight everything, move it there. So that line that I had taken out, I'm now going to connect it to the gain, okay? Then it's already linked. I make sure that it's linked. I come all the way through. I come over here and I come to the HX7. You see, now my signal is not a straight line. It's going through a gain. So I can adjust only the gain of that path here. I can go to invert. I can do this one. It means if, for example, Emma, you had miswired it. Where it's supposed to be hot, you connected the cold. Where it's supposed to be cold, you connected the hot, and the ground is ground. You have miswired the wiring. I can come here and electronically correct the wiring. I can invert the signal. All right. So I've got an right. So here is where the magic begins. This is where you guys need to up the game a bit. You have this graph. This is called a flat signal. It's playing everything. Let me tell you the truth. If you run this through your FB 150s, 120s, your chances of blowing those speakers is great because you're playing every single frequency through that speaker. That speaker is designed to handle only low frequencies, your best. All right. So how do we change this to choose to create a graph that is maximized for the HX 150s, for the FB 150s? So here I am dealing with the HX7, correct, on this signal path. Let's do this. I'm dealing with the HX7. If I come to this unit, let me open up. If I come to this unit directly, check here, where it says gain, I can say here, I can name it the way I want, HX7 volume. Hit enter. You see it has changed. Where it says polarity, I can leave it if I'm happy. I can change it and say you are not called polarity, you're actually called invert. So I can say you are called invert. I'm just naming my signal path, enter, okay? This one is a mute button. I leave it as mute. I'm happy with that one. And obviously the last one is my PEQ. So it's called parametric equalizer, right? I am not going to say parametric equalizer. I'm going to just say PEQ. So I click on here. Sorry, let's double click there. Okay. I'm going to name it PEQ. So this is the DSP that we are talking about, right? Let's do this. Once again, guys, let's take our time. If there's questions, please ask me. The first one is a volume. There's nothing to it. There's no magic. The second one is if somebody wires my signal and it doesn't sound right, I can invert that signal. The other one is called mute, just as a mute. If I press mute, HX7 will be muted. It won't play. All right. Good for when you are demoing stuff and a client comes through, you play your music, he wants to ask a question, just hit mute instead of reducing the whole volume. Mute that speaker. You ask the question, you address the question, you unmute that speaker, and music goes on playing. The magic is lying over here under your parametric equalizer. Right. Here is where you manipulate this curve to be something that you want to achieve. So here I'm doing physically, as you can see, I'm moving it along the frequencies, but I can manipulate it in the negative, I can manipulate it in the positive, I can drag it to any frequency range that I want. I know this speaker is a low frequency speaker, all right? So here I have a single band. Okay, this is called one band PEQ. I can only manipulate one frequency, all right? Let me do something. Don't get confused, guys. Don't get confused. Let me move this one here for now. You can choose a high pass filter to allow high frequencies, a low pass filter from 6 to 24 dB octave for your low frequencies. You can put automatic feedback suppression, which the M9000 does not have.
A second, also, just a second. Obvious, yeah. Just a second. Yeah. Not so.
Go for it.
You don't have a clue about this. Google it. No, you need to search and learn about those things. This is also Cancellation issue. This ISMA is for breakfast, but you have no clue. You're just engineer. Some men know those terms and what they do. So this is what ISMA knows. This is why we keep ISMA. But you also need to start knowing them. So high pass, low pass, even equalization, the different frequencies. What do they do? How do you do equalization? There's tons of videos on YouTube on that. Okay. What else is there? Yeah, high pass, low pass, all pass. Yeah. Okay, let's continue.
Great stuff. Thank you, boss. Let's do this. Before I continue, let me show you. Let's do this first. If I open the PEQ characteristics here, just by clicking, okay, left click on there, it turns an orange color around it. It brings up this information. Okay, well, this is where I've named it PEQ. You can choose the number of bands. Remember, I was saying there, that's a single band. Okay, you can make it 1 band, 2 band, 3 band, 4 band, 5 band. Okay, if I make it a 5 band like this, if I come back to my PEQ and I double click it, you can see now I can manipulate my signal along 5 bands. Okay, sorry, my error there. Let's do this under 5 bands. There we go. You see, now I have got band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4, band 5. The secret to this for Tower HX7s, HX5s, SR4s, SRH2 series, those line array speakers, when people fly me out and they, hey, there comes engineer obvious and he's doing magic, this man is something else. Seriously, I'm not. All I'm doing is I'm just putting the numbers that you find on the Tower speakers. Here are the numbers. Let me show you. Let's just move this one. I'll show you just now. Let me go to my server. Let me go to my product data on my server and I show you this. Because sometimes people do ask me and they say, obvious, how do I set up the HX7? So what you do, you need to download the HX7 data. That's the bottom line. Okay, let me show you. I'm going to move my screen just now. Let me show you under loudspeakers. Let me just show you 1 second. I'm just looking for this information, so I'm not doing anything in the background. So here we go to ProLine audio speakers. Let me see if I've got HX7. So there's HX7. There's HX7WP. So remember, if you are doing DSP, pay particular attention and download the right DSP information. So here I'll choose HX7, right? Black or white is one and the same. And you go to your manual of the HX7 and you open your manual of the HX7. All right. This is where I'm going to show you. It's very simple. You don't have to, you can do this on your own. Normally the information is around page 14. It's because I'm usually used to the manuals. If I go to page 14 and then I can scroll here on page 15, let's make it big. And let me explain this to you guys. So this is where the magic lies. You will see on all professional audio speakers, it doesn't have to be Bosch, they will give you what is called equalization table, right? So if you are doing what is called equalization table, you will notice if you are on the Z, you can adjust the angle of the HX7. I think you know, you can adjust the firing angle of the HX7 from 0 degree, 15 degree, 30 degree, 45, and 60 degree. So depending on how you have set your firing angle of the HX7. So my firing angle for this project, I'm going to say my speakers are sitting at 15 degrees, okay? If the speakers are sitting at 15 degrees, this is what you need to do. You come to the first table, it's called filter. You will see high pass filter, you will see PEQ, 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 right? And you go to the next section, to the next section, to the next section. What does this mean? It means for the HX7 to work, you must have here a high pass filter set at 12 dB octave. Number one, correct? Number two, you must have 1, 2, 3 parametric equalizers. So this means it works with a 3-band PEQ, 3-band PEQ. Let's move this and manipulate this information. Okay. I'm just using this table. I'm just using this table. All right. Let me come to my program. Right. Here, guys, can you see? If you can't see, please let me know. I think you can see here. All right. Yeah, okay, guys. Right. Yeah. Remember, according to the information on the HX7, it only needs 1, 2, 3 band parametric equalization. I've put 5. So what we are going to do, we are going to go to the actual program back here. This is going to be, let me see. Let me add one more thing, high pass filter. It told us we need a high pass filter. Let me put a high pass filter here. Let's minimize this one. Hold on. I'm just going to minimize this one just now. The HX7 requires a high pass filter, so I can choose a high pass filter here. As you see, I move my parametric equalization. I'm going to do this quickly so that we can finish up on that demo. I'm going to delete that one. I'm going to move my PEQ. I'm going to delete that line. So I'm actually creating a signal chain now. All right, let's do this. I'm going to put a high pass filter according to what it wants. And remember what I told you. Once you do this, remember to connect these. Otherwise, you're not going to get any sound. Okay, and then I reconnect that one back in. So my signal chain is complete, is through. It told us if I come to high pass filter here, okay, it will ask you number of inputs is 1, everything here is 1. I'm happy with that one. I double click into it again. This is where you manipulate it. It tells you level is 0, frequency is 20,000, bandwidth octave, can you see it, is 0.33. You come back to the information that you have. You must have a high pass filter of 12 dB. And your Q factor is there. This is Q factor. Q is 100, right? So what, and frequency is 65. Let's go back to where we are. So I'm not doing any magic. I'm just purely taking the information. It says here, level must be 0. Frequency was 65. Double click here, put 65. According to the information here, 65. Gain is 0. Your Q factor here is 1,000, so you put 1, okay? So you come back to the program. Your Q factor, your octave Q factor here, you put 1, for example. So this is the information. It was telling me gain dash means 0. It told me the frequency according to the table. The frequency is 65 according to the table, and my Q factor is that one. There's no delay. Okay, so once I've done that, I come back to my program. I go back to the frequency. So I've activated it, as you can see, as 0, 65, 1. All right, and leave everything as it is. This is my high pass filter done. Okay, I'm going to close that one. I am now going to the PEQs. Remember PEQs? I open. Here I've got a 5 band, but I'm going to use 3 bands. I come back to the information. Under 60 degrees, my PEQ number 1 is going to be at 160 hertz. You can see that information. My gain is 3, right? My Q is 1. Let me write this information somewhere. So my high pass filter is, my PEQ is 160. My gain is 3. My Q is 1. All right. So we take this information that's highlighted over here. We come back to our Xilica. We go to this unit. As you see, my frequency here, I'd programmed something which was not right because I was dragging this one up. I come to band 1, PEQ 1. This is PEQ number 1. It told me my gain must be 3. There's my gain. My gain is volume. Put number 3 according to the table. Number 2, my frequency according to the table is 160. You put the frequency there. Oh, sorry. What else? My bandwidth, my octave was 301 was 1. You put 1, 1.011. You can make it if you want, exactly as it is. Right. You will notice this is my first frequency. You can see the curve has already started to change. This is what we are doing now. This is what we called DSP. All right. This is band 1. Okay. This is band 1. Let's do the next band, which is this one, band number 2. We come back to the HX7. Band number 2, we are going to do our frequency is going to be 1.75 kilo, which means it's 1,750, right? Your gain over here is -3. Your Q is 3.633. Okay, so you are seeing the information, guys. Yeah, this is where I'm getting the information. My second band, my PEQ number 2, is 1.75 kilo. My gain is -3. My Q factor is 3.633. Right. Let's take this information and put it into the DSP. We go back here. This is band number 2. Band number 2, my gain, just double click on that number, put -3 according to what we got, right? You enter, you see the slide has moved down. You can see the slider moving. Then we come to the frequency, right? My frequency is 1,750. That is the same as saying 1.75K. That's 1,750. Then my Q factor is 3.633. So 3.633 according to the manual. Click enter. You see the curve. You see how the curve is now shaping up on band number 2 is over here. Then parametric equalization number 3, which is our band number 3, which is this one, which is the last one. Okay, so this is the information that I want to grab. Frequency is going to be 4.62, which is 4620. And my gain is -7.5. My Q is 2.145. Okay, so there is the information that's only available on this one. So it's the high pass filter, band 1, band 2, band 3. So let's do our third band. You come here, you manipulate the DSP information. There's band 1, there's band 2. Band 3 is telling us on band number 3, your gain must be -7.5. So -7.5. Press enter. You see how your gain has been reduced. Your frequency for here, check again. Your frequency now is 4620, okay, in hertz. And then you go to the Q factor. According to the manual, we just put in 2.145. So we put 2.145 and then click enter. You see, this is what is called the DSP, frequency response curve of the HX7. Okay, there's these things that are here. If you want, you can untick them. It's just a graph. You can put on phase, just to phase it or unphase it if you want. But this is how your HX7 is going to play out here. This is the response of how exactly it's going to play. Any frequencies out of this band, they're not going to be played. It's going to play exactly what's inside that setting up. So this is basically what is called DSP, right? So most people think DSP is complicated. DSP is not, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. All you need is get the manual of the speaker and put in those numbers accordingly. You have done your DSP. So I've done my DSP. I'm happy with my DSP for the HX7. All right. I've done my high pass filter for the HX7. All right. Butterweight, I'm using, okay, it's called Butterweight, it's fine. It's active. My frequency is okay. Let's check. This was 1 point. Let me just make sure I put the right number here. 1.011. That can make a difference. And then I am done on this one. All right. So let's take out that one. Right. You guys are okay for now?
You okay, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to show you something. If you are doing a church installation or you are doing a big hall, community hall installation, you will normally have like HX7 FB120s by the stage and maybe some feather meters down into the church, the hall. You might have some what we call filler speakers. So in a hall, in a church where you have your line arrays and subwoofers in front by the pulpit, by the stage, and maybe say 15, 20 meters down the line, the church, you put in what we call filler speakers. Those filler speakers will need to be delayed. So this is where you would need to use the delay. So if you have filler speakers, you need to delay this one by a certain delay. So you need to calculate the distance and then put the number for the delay. That is only when you are using filler speakers. Then I'll take on this one. The last one, guys, is what is called loudspeaker management. Loudspeaker management. If I double click on there, you will notice loudspeaker management is also done along the speaker line as a built-in PEQ. Right. I done here. Let me check. Let me show you. I did this one as PEQ on the incoming signal, right? And for those who do sound, you will notice this is not proper. Normally, this you use to EQ whatever is coming from your music, and then you then put a speaker management on the output. So let's do one. Let's do one. Let me move this one to my side so that I can have my scroll bar. I'm going to use, again, the same concept. I'm going to push that one. I'm going to remove that cable for the HX7. You are following? I'm going to put my loudspeaker management table over here, right? I am then going to connect my speaker cable or my link cables, one to there as I done earlier on. Hang on, I'm doing it wrong, I think. Okay, I'm doing it wrong. Sorry, my error there. Let's move this one here. Okay, it'll be fine. So that one we're done. So I'm gonna push that one, that side. I'm gonna disconnect it here. Right, I'm gonna delete that one. I'm gonna put my loudspeaker management somewhere over here, maybe. Let's do it this way. Right, let's connect that one to here. And let's connect this one back to here. Right, when you're doing loudspeaker management, basically, you instead of doing it on the PEQ, you can do it by just importing this panel and do loudspeaker management. You see, if we use the loudspeaker management, it's much more better than using a physical PEQ. Remember, let's go back to our manual. Let's finish up. I'm done. I'm just going to do a few scripts, then we are done. Let's go back to our speaker manual. What was it saying? It was saying our high pass filter must be 12 dB, all right, and 65 hertz, 1000, correct? This one. So I'm going to take this information once again and do the same exercise that I did with you. So my high pass filter is going to be 12 dB. My frequency 65 hertz. negative gain, dash gain, which is 0, and then my Q factor is 1.00. This is my frequency. This is my filter. Right. Let's do the same, guys, on the speaker management. I'm just manipulating. I'm just taking this information back into my design. It's asking me for high pass filter. Can you see it here? It says now.
Yes, but why loudspeaker management? Why and when will you put the equalizer versus speaker management? And you're not supposed to do both because it will be double the settings and then the speaker will not sound well, isn't it?
That is 100% correct. The reason why I'm doing this is I want to show you the difference of what you do when you are doing parametric equalization and when you are doing it under speaker management. So I've just done this. You see here, check here. This is only PEQ, all right? I cannot select the high pass filter in here because I have to put it external. So
I see there, you have put a shelf, not high pass on.
Yes,
You have put
yes.
shelf filter, high pass filter. Why?
Yeah, it's a shelving filter, but it doesn't have butterworth. Okay, check here, guys. You see the difference here. What you can set. Check to this one.
Sorry, the internet was bad. Repeat again. Why did you put high shelf and not high pass?
Because this one has got what we call the butterworth. Let me show you. Let me compare this one with this one. Let me open those two things so that you can see. I need to minimize a bit.
No, but this is what we are saying. You're choosing high shelf filter, not high pass filter.
It's one and the same. The only difference is a high pass shelf doesn't have butterworth bandwidth selection built inside it. Check here so that I can explain. If I explain without showing you the pictures, it won't make any sense. Let me compare those two graphs so that at least we can deal with it.
I don't understand.
Right. Check the difference here. This is what you see when you are doing just the PEQ equalization. All right, let's make it big. Under PEQ equalization, you only see that table. Check what you can see and compare that when you are doing a speaker management. Right, let's open up this one. You see your speaker management, you can choose on the speaker line to install a high pass filter, a low pass filter. If you choose a high pass filter, you can now go to a butterworth filter, a link RF filter, a bezel. These are filter types designed by audio engineers. So as we like the butterworth. So you will click here, butterworth, okay? You see the curve has already changed. This curve, I can never achieve it if I am using, let's do this. I can never achieve that curve if I'm using only parametric equalization. It doesn't have butterworth filters. So let's fine tune our speaker.
So in other sense, it's recommended to use the loudspeaker management more than the equalizer and the high pass filter?
Yeah, I would only allow, I would only recommend to use the equalizer if you are using, say, sensitive microphones where you want to take, maybe the microphone is so sensitive that you maybe is pushing out a lot of bass frequencies and a lot of high frequencies. You can fine tune that signal alone without affecting the actual speaker management. So I would rather use speaker management if I'm dealing with flat signals like music sources, CD players, FM tuners.
So no equalizer, no high pass filter, we use the loudspeaker management.
Yeah. So here, guys, let's manipulate that information so that it makes sense. I want you to see this curve. This information, according to the manual, it says use a butterworth filter, okay? 12 dB high pass. So here you see, this is not available on a parametric equalizer. I need to then choose 12 dB octave. Can you see it? If I do that, check on the response curve. If you want to give it more oomph, you can choose a 24 dB double octave, okay? So the recommendation from the HX7 manual says use 12 dB octave. So I'm 12 dB octave, right? My filter is butter. My frequency here was 65 Hertz. So the information that you get on the manual, punch it in, check now. What it means is you have cut out all the lower frequencies they will not play in your HX7. This is where you manipulate a speaker not to play bass, only to play mids and trebles. So what I've done here, you will notice your lower frequencies normally start from very effectively below 100 hertz, going all the way to 20 hertz. So most of my lower frequencies, I've cut them out. This speaker is going to only play whatever is below the white line. So my low speakers, cut out, done. So this is under high pass filter, check, Butterworth, 65, 12 dB. This information is exactly this information that I've highlighted. Where is my, let me show you where it is highlighted. This is the information, guys. I haven't done any magic. This is exactly that information. 12 dB, octave, 65 hertz, 0 gain, Q of 1000. That's the information I put in. Let's now do the first parametric equalizer. It's 160. We are doing exactly what we've done before. Gain of 3, Q of 1.011. Okay, let's manipulate this second information as our parametric equalizer number 1 under speaker management, so that you can appreciate what I'm trying to portray to you. Right, let's cut out this one, I think. Let's move this one back. Right, let me cut out that one. I don't think we need it. Okay. Right, I'm going to open that and open this one. Right, band number 1. This is an 8 band, as you can see, 8 band, but the HX7 only uses 3 bands. All right, so you can change this one if you want, but I'm going to leave it as it is. All right, so let's go to band number 1. Band number 1, your frequency is 160, correct? Your gain is 0, so you leave 0 as it is, or put 0. Your frequency according to the HX table, 160, 160. Press enter. You can see the curve changing. Please pay attention to the curve. Your octave, they told me, is supposed to be 1.0. Check again the curve. Right, so that's my first band. My second band, according to the information from the manual, your Q is supposed to be, oh, sorry. The first one, gain is 3. Sorry, this is wrong. Gain is 3. You will see it will push the curve up. There we go. Your second band, gain is supposed to be -3. So we put -3. Your frequency is supposed to be 1750. You put enter. You can see the curve here forming on number 2. Your Q factor is supposed to be 3.633. So we put the numbers as they are. There's no magic. Just put in the numbers as they are. You can see your curve already changing. Then we'll do the last band, which is our third band, which is now a gain of -7.5, a frequency of 4620. So just put 4620. And okay, sorry. Your Q factor of 2.145. 2.145. Believe me, I know the first time it's going to be confusing, but the bottom line is you see the frequency response curve of the HX7. This is how your HX7 is going to play, and I can assure you it is going to cut out frequencies that it is not supposed to play, the very topest frequencies, and it is going to cut out your bass frequencies. So this is how you manipulate a speaker to give you what you want. So this is what is called DSP programming. You can do the phasing out so that you can have a cleaner response curve. The magnitude, you can switch it off and on just to display it, so you can put it there, then it's okay. So I hope you guys are okay. We have band 4, 5, 6, and 7 up to 8. You can bypass these ones by doing this. Simple. Keep them in the program, bypass them. So as a signal travels through, it will only be filtered by band 1, band 2, band 3. Band 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it will bypass whatever numbers are in there. This is what is called DSP settings. Are you guys okay? I know it's going to be confusing.
Yes, now I have a question.
Yes.
Just to complicate things.
Yes.
This is the setups for the speaker.
Sorry, Come again.
This is the whatever. This is the specs for the speaker.
Yes, 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 yes,
Now I have an amplifier in the middle.
yes.
What if the amplifier specs are not? I need to adjust. Do I need to take into consideration the specs of the amplifier that is feeding the speaker, or as long as everything works, everything works?
Not really, boss. As long as I like the second statement, as long as everything works. True, unless if your amplifier has got DSP. If your amplifier comes with a built-in DSP, I would then ask you to disable that DSP of that amplifier and use the DSP.
No, so now I'm talking about, let's say I have the DA, I have the VM, I have the A2000. Must I check the frequency they're giving me out? Does it matter if they're 100-volt line?
Right.
Or what?
Right. So in this program, you will notice.
You remember, I don't know, when I was in Cape Town, Steven showed me that the F2000, the F2000 with the DA sound by far better than when it's playing with the A2000.
Okay.
So
because
this is something to do with the amplifier frequency, no?
It's difficult to justify that, because if you look onto the, let's do this. Let's do this. How was he playing? Is it because remember the HX? No. I think that's a wrong comparison, because you cannot compare an A2000 to a DA, because an A2000 comes in with a built-in mixer and a tone control, which is just bass and volume. Your DA amplifier is a flat signal. That's called a slave amplifier. It's got no bass, no treble, no volume. Whatever is coming into the DA, if you are playing that from an external mixer, the mixer does the magic.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. Thank you, boss. Thank you, boss.
Okay, no problem. Then my next question, we understood the specs anyway of the speaker.
Yeah.
Now on the VM, I have all the ceiling speakers. I'm not going to balance. I just keep everything in flat. What would be your recommendation for?
You are spot on. So what we will then do, boss, let me do this. Let's double click again. So on this output, that's going to your VM3000. Okay, so the VM3000 output, this one, whatever we are going to program there, we don't need to put any equalization. You can just, that straight line into the VM3000 out into the speakers, done. No need for DSP.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the DSP is mainly need for the Pro line.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And the subs and okay, cool. But anything, basically anything with a 100-volt line, no need anything.
Yeah. To be honest, basically 100-volt line mono signal, no need to waste time on DSPs. I would do DSPs for Pro audio so that you can capitalize on the frequency response of the speakers.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. So, just to give us the last thing, I am now going to do this. Let me save this one first. Let me save this one as so that you guys can play around. I'm just doing this so that you guys can play around with the different settings, refresh. Let me save this one as a different setup. Right, we come back to matrix, and then here we say matrix underscore PEQ. Oh, sorry, PEQ, and underscore again. Speaker SPK management. Oh, that's
okay. But in other sense, you're supposed to delete the PEQ and just leave the loudspeaker.
Yes. So I'm just giving this scenario so that the guys can play around. So
duplication of equalizing and the frequencies are not as what they're supposed to be. Do you understand it? That you've done EQ on the EQ and the speaker management. Now you're doubling the frequencies. You've reduced gain here and you reduced, so either or. The PEQ should go away.
Okay.
Yes.
And
yes.
the high pass filter should go away.
So we only use the loudspeaker management.
Yes.
Yes. So what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going, like exactly as Boaz is saying, I'm going to delete that one. I'm going to delete that one because it's not necessary to have two of these ones, okay? And then I'm just gonna clean up my file and I'm gonna take out that one and then just reconnect everything here so that I don't have a break in the signal. So I'm just gonna drag that one across to the HX7. So this now becomes, let's save it as a real template.
What you want to do the DSP.
Okay, so we say here, matrix underscore SPK management. Oh, come on. So this becomes, guys, your template to play around on how you do your DSP settings. All right, so this was how you do a DSP setting for the HX7. And you will notice if you do a DSP setting for the FB 150s, the curve will be completely in the opposite. It will be something like this, then it curves down because you are only playing low frequencies. You are not playing high frequencies. Okay, so far so good, guys. Are you happy?
100%. So I think the only thing remaining, because the rest is now just to do per line the same. The only thing missing for me to know now is how do I manage the control panel?
Okay, good. Yes, correct. That's correct. Right. Can you here for now? I know it might be a bit confusing, but for now we can follow this and we can always adjust. This is just a template to play with. Let's do, as Boaz is asking, management. Are you guys okay? Can I go to management? Remote management?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna close this one. As it is, if I dump this file, there's no ways I can control this by my tablet or by the Xtouch or by the WXP or by the computer because it is not connected to anything. You need to tell him or her, whatever you choose to call, that you are controlled by an external device. How do we do this? This is our Solaro FR1 programmed. We are happy. Everything is working, but we need to have external control. You come here. Again, we go to the first things. Let's close everything up and use other system components. It should give me what I want. Okay, under devices. So you scroll down to network equipment. You see network equipment, you drag a switch. This is an Ethernet switch. All right, you drag a switch and put it over here. For example, I'm using a 4-port switch on my table or a 16-port switch or a 24-port switch. It doesn't matter, but the bottom line is you need to drag a switch. All right, I'll show you. Then you need to tell, you said you have got Xtouch. Let me drag an Xtouch here. I'm going to drag an Xtouch.
XWP, wallplate, yeah.
All right. And let's say we are going to use an Xtouch app. So you can create an Xtouch app. This might be our laptop. Right? You drag another Xtouch app. Without dragging, you can also do this. Remember, I dragged an Xtouch app, right? You can simply highlight it and do Control V if I remember well. Control C, Control V. Let me see. There you go. So you can do those shortcuts, Control C, Control V on the highlighted item. It will copy it exactly. Then it will say Xtouch, then Xtouch -1. Okay. So let's do this to make our life a little bit easier. We leave this one as WXP. All right, I'm happy with it. We're now going to do Xtouch 1. Xtouch 1, is it going to be in, let's say, Xilica? I mean, sorry, Archivox?
So
What are you
yeah,
going
fine. Yeah, fine.
Great stuff. So let's do this. Let me go here. Where it says name here, let me change it to something that I want. So this is going to be my Archivox. Okay, I'll put C315 because it needs to be an Android device. C315. There we go. And I'll name this one our PC control. So this one Xtouch 2 is PC control. So which means we can also use a laptop and we can control it. and then this is our WXP. Right, let's get this thing. So by doing this, still, this is not going to work, all right? Check here. Under your X-Touch1, X-Touch2, whatever we have, we need to connect this to a switch, to a network. We need to connect this to the network. Let's come to the FR1. You see there's an icon called control. I'm going to click on control and then draw it to port number 1, Ethernet switch number 1. This is your network point number 1, okay? And then on point number 2, if I want, I can drag it like this, connect it to my laptop, which means my laptop is sitting on the same network. I'm physically connecting this one to my Archivox, though it's gonna run on Wi-Fi, but still it needs to sit on the same network. So this is my network. And I drag the last one, which then goes to my XWP. Right. So that means my 3 devices are now connected to the network. What you will notice, here it says MAC address not mapped, MAC address not mapped, same thing, same thing. The moment you physically map this one, the MAC address of the FR1 will come here. The MAC address of the XWP will come here. The MAC address of the Archivox unit will come here. The MAC address of the PC you are going to use to control will be mapped here. So this, we are doing it offline. When you do it live, the MAC addresses will come here. All right, let's do this. So you want to control with the X-Touch.
Now, it's not going to be dedicated for MAC addresses. I cannot have PC control and control it from 5 different laptops.
All right, what you need to do this, if you have chosen your Mac, your PC, your laptop, you need to download the X-Touch app into the laptop. And when you are running it, you come to here, you see something that's called map device, map physical device. If these units, okay, let's start with the XWP. The MAC address, as soon as you do this, if it's connected online onto the same network, you will see the MAC address will come up here. You just need to map it. So you select, click on the MAC address, it will appear here. If you have it running on the Archivox, the MAC address will come down here to be listed. You choose it, you will map it. If you are connected to the laptop, once again, the MAC address will be again shown here, and you can then map it. So these need to be mapped by clicking right click, map physical device. Or you can come here.
Are you getting me? Obviously, are you getting me?
Come again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Now, if it's going to be by MAC addresses, does it mean that it's going to be fixed per device? So PC control will only be locked to that PC. So if I want to control from different PCs, I need to put 4 PCs and 4 laptops, and each one will have its own MAC. Only those will be able to control the units?
That is correct, because your MAC address is only one and unique per every internet device. That MAC address that's mapped onto the program is the only one that will have ability to control the program. If you want more PCs, we put more MAC addresses as well, depending on those PCs.
Just a second.
Okay.
You know what's a MAC address? So every device that is IT related have a MAC address. It's a unique, it's like a serial number for the network that the hardware has. The VIAs, this one, the laptop, each one. IP, you can choose. The MAC is fixed. It comes from the manufacturer. It is, and it knows to drink it from there. It's like EDID for video. You have all the corrective. For IT equipment, there's a MAC address. That's why I ask. So once it knows the MAC for her laptop, I can come with my laptop, it won't work. So I need to add all of those, and it needs to drink all the MAC addresses from the laptop. So we need to add 5, 6 laptops, yours, all of us laptops. The same apply, I believe, even for, yeah. Sorry? Phones also have MAC addresses, yes. Even for mobiles, I need to do the same. I need to add as many mobiles on the system to control.
Yes, correct. That's very correct, boss.
Okay. Yeah, so we need to add 20 mobiles on the system. Fine, it's for security. It means nobody can just come download the app and manage. It's also a security thing. Even in the routers, in Wi-Fi, can say that as much as you have the IP, because some people like to bypass IPs. I give you an IP and you have access to YouTube. Now it takes your IP and you will have access to YouTube, but I can also restrict it by your MAC address. So as much as you have the IP, if you get the IP, but without the MAC address, you won't be able to bypass. So now that's IT a bit.
You guys
Okay,
okay
let's
now?
continue. We just had to explain about MAC and had to be clarified with you on that one.
All right. Okay. So guys, what I'm going to do now is going to take us a bit of magic. What we need to do now, guys, we need to do a bit of magic. All right. So you have a WXP module. If I double click into the WXP module, you will notice I can load up functions, right? Onto the WXP module, I can load up these functions, right? If I am to click onto the Archivox one, you will see the screen will be slightly different. All right, let me open up there so that I can show you this. This is on the Archivox. If I go to the PC control, it will look the same as the Archivox. So I won't open it for now, right? You will notice here, when you are programming external control, you need to create what we call pages, content pages, right? So you have a page called page 1. You can rename it and say input. Let me call that page is input volume control. All right, that page is called input volume control. I'm going to create another page called output.
EOS. Okay, fine.
All right, output volume control. I'm going to add another page called matrix because we have a matrix there. So what I can do, I can put my page and call it speaker select or a speaker selector page, whatever you want to call it. So I've created 1, 2, 3 pages. All right. Page number 1. Sorry, I don't want to add one. Page number 1 is a volume input volume control. So the secret behind this, once again, please don't panic. Don't panic. Rome was not built in a day. It takes time to get everything right. So there is my input volume. You can see this one. If I double click it, these are my 2 input volumes, right? Let's check where we are. You need to grab these volumes and put them on the Xilica control output. Okay, let's close that one. Let me open this one to there. Let me double click. Let me reduce that one to a certain level. Okay. Just want to reduce.
Where is the control? I don't see the control. Okay, you are minimizing the page. Okay.
Yes. I just want to make sure that I'm covered with everything. Okay. I'm just gonna zoom up here just a little bit so that I am covered on my page. Also, as you work, you will see there's a save button. As you work through your program, if you want, just save it. Now and again, save as you move on. It helps you to work on different pages at the same time. Okay, so here I'm okay. Let me do that. My buttons here are way too big. That's why we are having a problem. Right, let me go to this one. Okay, where are you hiding? All right, so I'm back to my page. I was just, sorry, opening a few pages. I want to sort my screen because I normally work on 2 screens, so it's easier for me to have one page open on one screen and the other page open on the other screen. Okay, let's minimize that. We don't need you. We don't need you either. We only need our drawing for now. Okay, if I open this one, I'm just gonna mix those 2 pages together. Oh, come on. All right, so let's move this one to there. Sorry, guys. And that one maybe somewhere there. So I will have 2 pages superimposed. Right, let me go back to open these ones. So
This
you
is
see,
sound management. This is control management.
guys, you are with me here.
Yes, yes.
Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to press the control button. My left mouse, I'm going to click on all these ones. My control button is okay. I'm just clicking on my left button. Okay, all like this. And I simply push everything and put it there. You saw I highlighted what I wanted and I dragged it to the C315 control panel. All right. So I can then come here. This is under page 1. And then I can just do some magic for you guys. We'll do a couple of pages.
Yes, no.
Just to make sure we covered. Right.
Just a second. Patricia is trying to do the same as you're doing. Just a second. Yeah? What? Yes, okay.
Are you okay?
Yes, yes.
Oh, all right, all right. So I'm just moving these and resizing them. Okay, I'm just moving these. So I'm creating a screen which you guys will be able to see. All right, on your touch panel, which is now on your AccuVox 3S. AccuVox C315S. This is what when you open up the panel, you'll be able to see exactly what you are seeing here. So I'm just sorting out these ones to be. I can do it this way if I want, and I can have this one. Okay, I'm just doing these ones. This one was input number 1, or I can leave them as they are if I want. Okay, I can move. As you see, I've got flexibility to do whatever I want. So let's deal with input number 1 for now. Okay, input number 1. This is called your VU meter. All right, this is that blue meter that moves up and down to show you the signal playing. If you want, you can make it like this. All right, if you want. And you can take the volume for input number 1, which is that one. You can put it next to this one. Okay. Once you drag something, just pay particular attention over here. This is called a vertical custom slider. You can have a horizontal slider or a horizontal custom slider. Let's do something. Horizontal custom slider like this. And I simply drag on this one to fill up the screen. There's my volume control. This is exactly how it's going to appear on the front of your C315. Right. So to make things easier, click on this one. Check here. It says width 60. So I normally work with a paper. My height is 60. Can you see this? 60 by 60. So what do? I come back to this one, which is the same as that one for channel number 2. I push it here, right? I simply go to it and go here 60 and change that one to 60. So it looks exactly the same. It's good to have the same graphics, right? And this one, I know it's 480 by 80, 480 by 80. So I come to this one. Firstly, I change it to a custom horizontal slider. Then I go to the parameters 480, enter, then by 80. You see it will look exactly the same measurements, and simply drag it to where I want it. Okay. And we had input 1, input 2. So I can do this. That one, Control CV, which is to copy it, bring it down onto here. I'm just creating a graphics, right? Double click on there, change that one to number 2. So I know that is input number 2, input number 1. So what it means is, guys, very simple. Okay. I'm going to save this for now. Very simple. What this physically means, it's as good as coming to here and pushing the volume controls up and down. I just manipulate, I just copy the volume controls and put them on the C315. What else must I do? I know this button is 60 by 60. I can make this button 60 by 60. So I can drag it up. All right, like this. This is mute for channel 1. Then invert for channel 1. So this one, let's make it 60 by 60. So we've got uniform buttons. Right. Then this one, I'm going to make it 60 by 60 again. Let's see if it will allow us. If it does, I'm happy. Okay, so it doesn't allow us. We don't have enough distance. So
but I don't need to have invert on my control panel. Why do I need invert on my control panel? We just remove it. Just have the mute, the volume control, no?
You can, yes. The idea is it is available. You can use it. If you don't want it, you simply delete it. So you can do this.
Yeah.
Let's make it that, and we just simply get another one over here. We make it a 60 by 60. I do have, mine runs on the invert because when somebody comes in, I can show you. You see, I can invert that channel if somebody wires it wrongly. Right, let's do this. Let's just relabel this one to what I want. Then we are done. And we are done. Mute. This is now mute channel or 1 if I want. So this is my mute channel 1. The invert, we are taking it out, and we can move this slider over there. We can make a bit of space. This one, let's make it 80 by 60. Let's make it 80 by 60. We do the same here. Again, this is your creativity, guys. It's all up to you what you want. I'm going to copy that button and just put it as mute channel 2 over here, and just change that name to mute channel 2. Right, so I've got mute channel 2. That's it. No, that's wrong. That must come down. That's it. Okay. Basically, you switch on your input. Sorry, you switch on your panel. Once you have loaded this to your panel, then immediately your panel will switch on. The colors that you see here are exactly the colors that are going to be displayed on your panel. But these colors are not good colors. They don't look good. Okay, we don't need this digital trim. We can take it out. We just want to make our panel as simple as possible. Let's redo our panel. This is what we are going to use whenever we are controlling. Let's make it a little bit better. Right. This is where I expect you ladies to beat us, because ladies are quite colorful. So the colors depend on what you guys choose. Right. I'm going to do a simple coloring for this particular one for you guys, just as a sample. I'm going to choose that panel. I'm going to choose all my panels or all my dots here that are gray, and I'm going to choose label text. I'm fine. Number of LEDs. I'm fine. Sorry. Let's do this first. Let's do this one. Let's choose the VU meters, number 1 and 2. They are going to be number of LEDs 16, LED color blue. This I'm fine. And then the background color, let me check if there's a background color here. Text color is fine. Border color is fine. Object color is light gray. I'm going to change this one. I'm going to put in one of my favorite colors. Let's go up. I use that color. Okay. And then we know the color codes inside are Doja Blue, as they call them. I'll leave them.
Emma doesn't like your color.
I know she was going to complain. So I'm just doing the coloring here. You do what?
Yeah, no problem.
All right. I'm just doing some coloring here. You can change these ones. Like check here. It says here knob color. If you look on this one, you come over here, all right? And you can see the knob color is called white smoke. All you do is change to any color that you want. If you want it to be royal blue, you can make it royal blue, and then the knob becomes blue. The background here, if you want, again, my favorite color, you will see how this cyan color, or whatever you call it, cyan color, looks amazing on tablets, because normally your tablet is a blue the black background. So the cyan actually comes out very nice on those tablets. But you can use any color. You can make it yellow, green, red, whatever suits you. You're more than welcome. Okay, cool. Let me do that one. Object color. I'm gonna make it once again my favorite color here. Okay. And then my knob color, I can make it black if I want.
Okay, cool.
So you get the gist of what I'm doing. If you guys want to put anything under here, you can choose a picture. If you want to put your Technic logo over here, if you are doing it for the Roman Catholic Church, they've got their logo. You can actually put a logo in the background so that whenever you switch on the unit, you can actually have a background color. So here, default is called transparent black. Okay, you can put any color, like I've said, that you want. You can put any color that you want. That will be the background color. All right. Okay, so this is what it's going to look when your tablet switches on. And also, you can have what is called the value. Okay, the on label, you can say mute on. The off label, I'll show you now, means mute. Oh, come on. Mute off. And then the off color, you can make it whatever color you want. Again, I can choose my off color to be green, or this one, or whatever colors you want. I normally want to go for green, and I do the same. So I can copy that one and do the same if I want at the same time. Off label, I can then say mute on, off label, mute off. I'm done, guys. I'm done.
The same principle works for the control panel, for the
Yes. This
for the
is
XWP.
the XWP is a different way. You just have to drag functions. Okay. So as you can see, I'll come to the XWP. As you can see now, this what typically my control panel, my touch screen is going to look like. Be it a tablet, be it your Akivox 3 S315, be it your smartphone. If you download this as it is now, this is how it's going to look. So it is critical that you play around with your colors so that it appears attractive and as nice as possible. All right. That's very important. All right. So let me save this file. Then I go to the WXP. I save as.
And I need to download an app for the Acoustic, yeah? I need to download the Xilica app?
Yes, correct. Correct. For the Xilica app, you need to download from the Google Store if you have got an Android device. If you are going to load it onto the Akivox, because it's a third party, you can download any APK file,
Some good work, but you're in charge of wiring, you're in charge of configuring.
Right. So far, so good. I've done this one. You do the same on the output volume. You drag what you want. On the speaker selector, you simply put in your presets. You simply drag in your presets. Okay. So let me not waste too much time on here. Just trial one. Let's close this one up. Let me close that one. Let me just also loosen. Let me go to.
Oh, wow.
So here is written item number 1. Let's see if I can manipulate that one. Right. So this Xilica program, as you are noticing, this is basically more or less, it's all about, if you are doing controls, it's dragging. You see, I've dragged that volume control on number 1. I can drag that volume control on number 2. I can drag that in, that mute. I can drag that. It's all about dragging. Okay, so I've dragged in 4 things there. The first one is my slider for input number 1, input number 2, and then I've got mute for 1, for mute for input number 2. And simply by doing this, you can change the name from item number 1. You then say, okay, music 1, volume, for example, and you hit enter. That's my label. Use bitmark as fine. Slider is horizontal. Everything here is fine. Okay. Okay, sure. Sorry, I've got a limit there. So let's just go channel 1.
Volume. Okay,
Volume.
channel.
Yeah. So I'll just I think I didn't remember about the characters. Let me see if it will allow me. Item number 1. Let's see if it allows us. Right, channel 1 volume, so I can manipulate that one. Put a 1 over here. Do my all, control all, and copy it so it becomes easier. Control C. I come here, channel 2, control V, then I change that one to number 2. I come here, this becomes mute channel 1, CH1. Let's do control all. Let's hope my characters are okay. Then I do control V, then that becomes mute channel 2. So you see, I've just merely dragged the function so I know channel 1 volume, channel 2 volume, mute for channel 1, mute for channel 2, whatever I want. Okay, let's just do a couple, just to grab that information.
So I will do, my view is to do channel 1 volume, channel 2 volume, and then on the rest to do mute buttons for HX7, mute for FB, mute for VL, mute for A2000, and then I just press them and they come on, isn't it?
Correct. It's very simple. It's not complicated at all.
Just output selector, we press on, off, that's it. Yeah, we're together? No? Volume in, volume out, volume in 1, volume in 2, then mute. So, okay, you call it HX5, HX7, FB150, FB120, VM3000, A2000, and just a mute button. So I want to activate the amplifier. I just activate the amplifier. De-embedder, mania, whatever you want to do. Wherever I want the sound to go to. By the way, once we have EOS, EOS should be paired everywhere, whatever. That is now control configured, but yeah. Okay.
Okay, good. All right.
I think we let the guys do homework, unless they have any other questions. I think it's clear. And if we need to elaborate more, maybe we'll do another session next week. But I want them to now configure the FR1. I want them to insert it to the showroom because the showroom is not functional. If they have any issue, they also know how to get you. We have the WhatsApp group, so we can ask and see. But you can also send you the file for review.
Okay, good stuff. So just to run up everything, to end everything. Once you've configured everything here, guys, always remember to load the design. So you're transferring what you've got on the laptop onto the physical device. So you save your project, you load the design, this becomes active, and then your Xilica starts working as you want it to work. If there's anything that you want to change, as Boaz has said, please also let me know. I'll be able to assist you, and then you get the system to work as it should. But now,
do you want this file or you've done everything? Do you want his files or you have done everything?
I'll still send you the files.
Okay.
Let me send you the files just for, just to have them so that you can always refresh them. Let me do this. I'm done.
Just one more question from Patricia, a second, and even Emma wants to ask. Okay.
Going how you drag the mute, for example, to the XWP.
She wants to see how you drag the mute to the wall plate.
Oh, to the wall plate. Okay, let me show you. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm going to, let me open recent project here.
The way it's even recording.
Yes.
You get the whole
yeah. So if to drag, you open here. Okay, yes. Patricia. You want to, how to drag the mute, okay? You first open your Xtouch, you come to the program, right? And then you come to your signal. There's your mute button, okay? Sorry. There's your mute, this one. Okay, then you can simply drag that mute if you want. So it will be a control if you want, like this. Then drag it to the Xtouch if you want. So you choose what you want over here. You can drag it from the volume control over here, okay? There's your mute button if you want. So you simply highlight it, sorry, control, and then drag it across. So you first press you highlight it first, press control, press the left button, and then drag it to where you want it to go. There it is.
So in order for me to do that, I should put a mute button on every line?
It's not working.
What is, have you got the mute highlighted? Okay, let's do it. I've already done the mute here.
Wait, she's trying to do it here and it's not working. Just a second.
Okay.
But what are you dragging?
I'm dragging mute.
Which mute are you dragging? No, the red thing you need to drag, not the text.
Yes, it's the red.
Doesn't go.
Okay. How?
No, it's okay. It went. No, but
All
this
right.
is in there.
All right. All right. Is it
Okay, fine. Yes.
All right. Right, guys. Just to round up, boys, thanks for the time with the crew. But just to round up something, let me show you something here. Let me show you some of the stuff that I've done, which is a bit complex. But let me just show you my demo room. Let me show you what I've done for my demo room. Okay, so this is my demo room. Okay. So if I am to open up on my demo room panel, let me see if it will give me, it's unfortunate I might be connected. So this is what I did on my demo room panel. Okay, this is exactly as you see it now. This is how it appears on our demo room tablet. Okay, I've put in whatever it is. We are from TOA, and I've put in the names of, I became a bit creative so that somebody walks into my demo room, the KX Touch senses you, switches on, and it can see who you are, what you do, what else you do from your company. That's my page number 1. It's called welcome page. This is my input selector page. As it appears in my demo room, there is my—
Not a joke. You like this color.
Sorry, boss. So check what I've done. This is what I've done in my demo room. So this is my speaker selector panel. I can select an F2000. Even if you don't know what it is, you only need to look on the wall and see the picture. You will know, okay, it should look pretty much like this. So I had to manipulate these little pictures and put them on. It might work for you, it might not work for you. And then you can see my volume control pattern. This is exactly as it appears in my demo room. I can even see if they are playing signal. This is where if somebody's demoing, I can connect to it. I can reduce the volume immediately if it's disturbing others. Okay. You can see my panels. I'm just going through just to see my panels.
Yes, very nice.
There is my BS130 panels, my control panel for the HX5, volume control panel for the HX5, HX7, and the FB, my SRS range of speakers, my speaker combination panel. So this works in the manner that as soon as somebody switches on a speaker from the red icon, if they switch on the FB150, it turns green. You can create a number of pages as much as you like. And then the end panel describes, I just copied this text from the Xilica website and put it as my end panel. So if somebody comes with my demo room, flips through the pages, you can read about everything that relates to Xilica and you will know Xilica. So guys, ladies and gents, thanks for your time.